Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special one-shot episode on Monday nights here. In lieu of the Between, we have a game of Brindlewood Bay, which I'm very excited to announce is being run by none other than the creator of the Between and the Brindlewood Bay, the Gauntlet community as a whole, Jason Cordova. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, take it away, please.
Oh, will do. So we're playing Brindlewood Bay. I will say, everyone, it's on Kickstarter right now, and I believe there's a link in chat. So go check out the campaign if you have not done so. I think what I want to start by doing is a procedure called Cats, if that's okay. And for people watching the video, what I'm about to do, this is all scripted in the rules of the game. So if you're getting ready to run Brindlewood Bay, you can do it just like I'm doing it. So we got you covered. But CATS is an acronym that stands for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. I like to do this in order to just establish some basic expectations for what's going to happen tonight. And so the concept of Brindlewood Bay it's a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens mystery book club, who frequently find themselves investigating and solving murder mysteries in their community. They become increasingly aware that there are supernatural forces that connect the cases they're working on, and in particular, a cult dedicated to the dark, monstrous aspect of the goddess Persephone will come to vex them. The game is inspired by the television show Murder, She Wrote, but also takes inspiration from the works of H.P. Lovecraft, cozy crime dramas, and American TV shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It is Murder, She Wrote meets Cthulhu, essentially. That's basically what the game is. The aim. So we've already made characters. And so in a moment, we're going to introduce them, and we're going to populate a special section of the character sheet called A Cozy Little Place. After that, we will just begin, we'll get going with a procedure that's called Cozy Vignettes, and we'll talk about those when it's time. And then I will present the mystery that we're going to be doing tonight, and you'll start investigating. And then hopefully we'll have some time for debrief at the end. The tone of the game bounces between cozy and creepy. Most of the time, it will be fairly lighthearted, but occasionally it will get a little dark and menacing. Some kitschy, campy humor is good here, and very much in keeping with the game's inspirations. But above all, your characters should take everything they do very seriously, even if we as a play group are having a laugh from time to time, right? In terms of subject matter, the subject matter may occasionally get dark and challenging, especially when the dark cult rears its head, which may not happen too much in this one shot, but we'll see. In order to help ensure that no one's fun is ruined by triggering subject matter, we're going to have some safety tools on the table. And so we're going to be doing lines and veils and the X card. Lines and veils, lines are things that we just don't want to have in the game in terms of content. And then veils are things that we're okay with being in the game, but we just prefer not to role play them. I have asked all the players to just mark their lines and veils on our character keeper, and I'll go check that out later so that I know we're in good shape there. The X card is pretty simple. Just if something happens in the game that just doesn't conform to your idea of fun, just say X card and I'll stop. I might ask what is being X carded, but I won't ask why, and we'll just change it. So, are there any questions about cats?
I think we're all good on cats.
We're good.
Well, we have created characters, so let's go ahead and introduce them first. Now, the way this introduction is going to go is it's going to go in two passes. The first pass, I just want to know just the basics, your character's name, what is their cozy activity, what's their style, meaning their appearance, and what Maven move have you chosen. And then after we're done getting that basic information about each character, then we'll go back around again, and I want you to talk about three key backstory elements. The first is a little bit about your deceased partner, because that's something the women all share, is their partner's dead, their former partner's dead. What they did before moving to Brindlewood Bay, like what was their career beforehand, and if they had children, a little bit about their kids, or if they have pets, that's good too. So let's start with just the basic introduction, though, and I'm going to go in the order of the sheet. And so, Meg, tell us about your character.
Yeah, sure. So for tonight, I'm going to be playing Opal Setang, or just, well, her real name is An, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. she dresses very much in the very well dressed all the time. If you're familiar with Jackie O, that kind of style, that's what she typically wears. And her cozy activity, she likes cooking.
Fantastic. And what have you chosen for your Maven move?
And for my Maven move, I chose Frank Colombo, which essentially lets me be a little bit more meddling, assuming people don't take me too seriously.
Yeah, it specifically is directed at like people from high society,
yes,
like you are disarming with, which is interesting because your personal style sounds like it's very chic, and so I'm curious, like why are you why do you throw them off their guard so much?
Well, that's very simple.
Yeah,
I'm a woman from Southeast Asia.
Ah, very good. Okay, I love it. So Frank Colombo is great. Frank Colombo is like in the game is like kind of the classic like power move. It's very, very mechanically effective, and so it'll be fun to see that in play. Let's go to Wes. Tell us about your character, Wes.
Hi, y'all. I am playing Alice. No last name, just Alice, the artist known as Alice. Her pronouns are she, her. Her fashion sense, her style is a bit, think Martha's Vineyard, a very much like a fashionable beachwear, but she takes really good care of herself, even though she's a little bit older. So she wears high-waisted khaki shorts, and she likes to wear like, tank tops with a nice floral shirt tied around the waist, and beach shoes. She considers herself very, very fit and fashionable. You have to be a painter of beach landscapes, which is what she is known for. And that is her cozy activity. It is her career, but also her cozy activity is painting. She enjoys it quite a bit. But more cozy, she likes to paint still life when she's not working. A little bit more relaxing that way.
I love it. And what Maven movie have you chosen?
I have chosen Thomas Magnum as my Maven move. Which, for those at home, you are a secret personal friend of Robin Masterson, the mysterious author of the Gold Crown mystery books. You have access to Robin's resources whenever you are outside of Brindlewood Bay, her homes, her vehicles, and even her checking account. And once per session, I can open up an additional use of the Gold Crown mysteries move.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. But for people watching the video, the lore of the game is that a key setting element is that these characters, as I mentioned, are all members of the Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club, and their favorite series of mystery books is the Gold Crown Mysteries, featuring this character called Amanda Delacourt, written by a very mysterious author, Robin Masterson, who no one has ever seen or met except for apparently Alice. So that's very cool. And the Gold Crown Mysteries move is a very, very like cool move that allows you to essentially recall a Gold Crown mystery, and however Amanda Delacourt solved the problem, you get to use that as inspiration for solving a problem. Okay, so now let's go over to Alex, and Alex, tell us about your character.
So I'm playing Mildred Davenport, also known as Millie, she, her. Her style is best described as the eclectic collection as seen by Dorothy Zbornak on The Golden Girls. And her cozy activity is charity events.
Fantastic. I love it. And what have you chosen for your Maven move?
So I chose Jonathan Hart. You used to live a globe-trotting jet-set life, and you still have a touch of glamour about you that will never fade. I add 1 to my presence.
Oh, fantastic. What does that make your presence then, 2?
2.
That's awesome. That's a great, strong presence score. Good. All right. Now we're going to go back again. And here is where everyone needs to really pay attention, because after everyone tells us their little backstory bits, the rest of us are going to each say one thing we think is in that person's home based off everything we know about them so far. And this is essentially like your starting equipment list. So for people familiar with the Between, it's like the personal quarters, but here we call it a cozy little place. So let's go back to Opal, and hereafter I'll refer to you by your character names. Opal, tell us about your deceased partner, if you had any kids, and what was your job before Brindlewood Bay?
So something that I should note before moving forward is that Opal was born in Thailand. She is Southeast Asian. And Opal is essentially her childhood nickname. Her real name is An, but everyone calls her Opal, and everyone has since she was a kid. She went to the United States when she was about 20 years old to study in college, and there she met her former, long since passed husband, unfortunately, Harold Reed, who at the time of his passing was a professor emeritus of history. He was a very well-learned man, a very sharp man, and she was as well, although given the times, she mastered not in, say, things such as science or history or literature, but actually home economics, very specifically cooking. And before she retired to Brindlewood Bay, she actually worked first teaching at a girls' finishing school, and then eventually became a culinary teacher. She and her husband, Harold, had 2 kids, Jessica and Mark. They are twins, and they both are traveling the world, doing who knows what at this point. They don't come home very often, but ever since Harold's passing, she's decided to retire to Brindlewood Bay, and she's very well known for making her very, very, very exceptionally good Thai flan.
Fabulous. So at this point, myself and Alex and Wes will each think of one thing that we think is found in your home based off everything we know about your character. And so you get to make adjustments or revisions if you wish, but do either of you have an idea?
Yeah, I got an idea. You said that your late husband, Harold, was a professor of history. I think you have this hefty, dense, like encyclopedic historical text that is just basically like a brick that is like has some kind of like it's got like a scrawled note from Harold, like your late husband in there, but it is this like you could use it to kill somebody. Like it is this thick history tome.
I can go with that. I like that.
Fabulous. I'm going to say that you have a James Beard Award for like culinary instruction. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
And I am going to say that you have it's a ceramic but golden laid figurine of an elephant from your time back home in Thailand.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fun fact for people watching the video, this is a diversion. I apologize, Alex, and group. But when I was in the Navy, we spent several weeks in Thailand. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And I, one time in Phuket, Thailand, got very, very drunk, and I bought an elephant statue. And it was so heavy, they had to get machinery to lift it onto the boat. And I was passed out drunk. And so I just remember being in the bottom of the little boat and seeing my elephant being lifted onto the ship. And anyway, it's kind of amazing. So,
well, at the very least, you have a nice luck symbol in your house.
I got chewed out so badly.
Maybe not the right kind of luck.
They still did it. Yeah, they still did it. They still like got. It was in the middle of the night Tuesday to get a bunch of people up to like do this. Yeah, it was amazing. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's keep going. But I love Thailand. All right. Okay, let's go over to Alice. So Alice, tell us about your deceased partner, any kids if you had them, and what you did before you came to Brindlewood Bay.
So Alice had a partner, no longer with us, very tragic, losing Bernice Talbot. Bernice Talbot is well known on TVs across the nation as the Barefoot Baroness. Who is a famous TV chef who had a show on the Cuisine Network. I'm definitely making a play. This is definitely the Barefoot Contessa. We all know this. If you have a grandmother, you know who the Barefoot Contessa is. But yes, that Bernice Talbot, the Barefoot Baroness, who was a very popular TV chef host. And together, we had 2 very lovely, adorable fur children. They are still with us, though. They are still with Alice. Rudolph and Carl. They are 2 Great Danes. They are twin Great Danes that she loves very, very much. that retired with her to Brindlewood Bay. And before she retired to Brindlewood Bay, she was a painter specializing in beach landscapes that she would sell to luxurious hotels across the world. So the Waldorf Astoria in Chicago, or maybe the Four Seasons and Honolulu, things of that nature. Those luxury hotels that you dream about staying at. She specialized in making beach landscape paintings for those different places.
Fantastic. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just, and that's Alex.
Okay. Okay, so Alex and Meg, any thoughts on what might be found in Alice's home?
I mean, I feel like I gotta say, like a reliable like painting supplies. It's like this like hoard of like palettes and canvas, just like endless painting supplies. Just.
I agree.
I'm going to say you have, well, it kind of dovetails with the Robin Masterson thing a little bit, but I'm going to say you have a really extensive Rolodex. For anybody who's under the age of 40, a Rolodex is a spinning address book thing. So,
I think you have a video collection of your partner's like best shows. Just this giant DVD case full of recorded episodes.
I almost said you have her James Beard Award. Fantastic. Okay.
I carry the DVDs around everywhere I go, but at home I've got it on Betamax and VHS in case that's too big.
What about Laserdisc?
Oh, just a couple of those. They're so big.
Okay, Alex, tell us about those backstory bits about Millie.
Yeah, so Millie is from wealthy, like New York elite kind of socialite background. Her husband was Samuel Davenport, this wealthy kind of like broker from like Wall Street. He actually had the reason why she retired to Brindlewood Bay is because the Davenport family has familial ties to Brindlewood Bay. Historically, they actually have been the largest donators to and curators of the Whaling Museum. And so she retired here to be like closer to feel closer to her late husband. They lived in New York City previously. She was like this socialite event director kind of lady, putting on charity galas, hosting and contributing towards like theater funds and all that kind of stuff. And she has 3 children. There's Edgar, who is a lawyer that lives in Denver. Doreen, who works at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, and Thaddeus, who went missing in a storm many years ago. And that's what I came up with.
I love it. Okay, Megan West, any thoughts?
I think Millie has the only thing that was ever found of Thaddeus, a broken wristwatch.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I like that.
I am going to suggest that Millie has a paddle from a silent auction where she met Mr. Samuel Davenport many years ago, benefiting sailors and fishermen who have been falling on hard times.
I'm going to add a detail to that because I love that. It's specifically an oar from the Deep Reaver.
Nice.
Perfect.
That is a touch of Brindlewood Bay lore there. I love it.
I know Brindlewood Bay too well.
I'm going to say you have a piece of scrimshaw, but the carvings are like in an unknown language. There's like words that no one has been able to decipher.
I love all of that.
Okay, so now that we have met the characters and we've populated their cozy little place, normally if you were playing the game, you would then take a little break, but I think we can probably just keep going. At this point, go ahead and take a look at your character sheet and choose your end of session questions. The first one is always the same. Did the Murder Mavens solve a mystery? But then you get to choose 2 others from your little drop down there. And what you're going to do is choose something that you think you can accomplish in the role play tonight, because these 3 questions are where all your experience points come from. So by answering yes to them, then you get an XP at the end. So take a look at those and do that. And then comes Cozy Vignettes. Now, Brindlewood Bay is presented as if it is a TV show. And so the Cozy Vignette is like the opening credits of the TV show. So if you've ever seen Murder, She Wrote, there's that sequence of opening credit scenes where Jessica Fletcher is riding on her bike and waving to someone or gardening or whatever, right? This is a chance to show your Maven enjoying her life in Brindlewood Bay. The scene should be either warm and cozy, or it should be light and breezy. Showing you doing your cozy activity is really good. And it should just be a very brief little narration. And so think on it for a moment, and whoever wants to go first, do so.
I'm happy to go first. Okay, so we begin an opening a beautiful scenic landscape shot of Brindlewood Bay. You see the harbor, all these colorful homes and the boats at dock, and we see kind of the interior of this kind of event space, where there are, it's very it's the bingo hall of a local retirement community, and we see Millie in her best attire walking through, and there are tables laden with beautiful tablecloths and doilies, and she's holding like a little clipboard, and she's smiling, and she's like going over to tables and like nodding and like writing things down and talking with like event organizers, and like then you see her on stage, and she gives this like wide sweeping like stance, like a banner drop that like lists like whatever funds are being raised at this little event, like elder care relief or something, I don't know. And then we also see her kind of like walking through the park, very professionally but happily, like a swagger in her step. She kind of like, walks by like a statue of like a town founder or something. She like stops, like backtracks, like reaches into her bag, pulls out like a handkerchief and just like polishes the shoe a little bit more, admires it from afar, sees herself in it, winks, and continues sauntering down the way.
I can go then. So I think the scene pans then from the park into like a little community center, like a community center, and into very specifically the kitchens, where you see Opal, her hair beautifully done up with a nice little line of pearls around her neck, and she is currently instructing a couple of about 10 to 12-year-olds in how to, look after a stove, how to mix things properly, how to make sure your workspace is always clean and tidy. And she's very much clearly leading a like a weekend class. She's like a cooking weekend class for kids, and she's strict, if only because these are children and they are using hot burners, and please do not burn yourself, dear child. But she's clearly loving what she does, and the kids are presenting her with little cookies and little cupcakes, and she is just having a wonderful time. And she ends up leaving the class, her arms laden with slightly burnt chocolate chip cookies.
Fantastic.
We follow the steam, the vapors of the slightly burnt chocolate chip cookies through the air to the beach side, in through a window, and you see in a art studio, there is Alice sitting there with an easel and canvas and paint strokes, and the camera looks at her holding a paintbrush in between her teeth, as well as others, like one tucked behind her ear, looking over, making some adjustments. The camera pans around, and you see Rudolph and Carl, her 2 Great Danes, but they are dressed like Frida Kahlo's self-portrait, The Two Fridas. And they're sitting there perfectly still, and we see her like turn and look towards the door, where she hurries off very quickly before telling them to sit and stay. The door opens, and she sees that she has a package, and it's from a mysterious sender, and she scoops it up picks it up, waves at the male person that delivers it, close the door, where you see her jump again as if there's a big crash. And she turns and she stalks back to the studio, and you see Rudolph and Carl sitting there perfectly like they were before, but these two Frida costumes that they were wearing are ripped up, and all the other set dressing and things that she had there as accoutrement to help her paint have all just been destroyed and tore up. And that is Alice.
I love it. Thank you so much, everyone. That was great. Okay, so let's get our mystery for tonight. Tonight, our mystery is called Dad Overboard. And for people watching the video who are not familiar with Brindlewood Bay, Dad Overboard is the sort of starter mystery. It's the mystery we recommend that you start the campaign with. After that, you can play almost any that you wish, but this is the one we think you should start with. Now, this mystery begins at the weekly meeting of the Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club. And that meeting is held every Saturday night in a little loft space at the Candlelight Booksellers. And we have a paint the scene question here. I know you all know what paint the scene is, but paint the scene for viewers of the video or of the stream. Paint the scene is a question that I pose to the group in order to explore an idea about a location. And so our paint the scene here is, as the camera pans around this loft where you hold your Murder Mavens meetings, what do we see that shows how you have personalized the space?
There is I'm just going to harp on the painting thing a little bit more. There's a painting of each of the Mavens, and there's some Mavens that are part of the Mystery Mavens book club that aren't with us today there, but they're not very, it's almost like it was a very rushed painting. And instead of it seeming exactly like everybody, it's a lot of smudges. It's almost like an abstract painting of the Murder Mavens. It's very, you can tell which one is which, but it's more by the clothing and the feeling of the painting than who it is by their facial features.
In contrast with the art itself, there is this kind of wall laden with frames, and it is a number of like well organized and kept like awards and cut out newspaper articles. It's like from like anything that like, you know, Opal's like cooking awards, or any like specific mention of the Mavens in the Brindlewood Beacon and beyond is on display there. A number of photographs and articles of the various cases that they have cracked as a team, and there's a special emphasis on like how organized it all is. Like, you know, it's like almost this whole like impromptu spokeswoman kind of display that is ready and tidy for should anyone ever need to take photos in front of it, you know.
Scattered amongst this bookshelf upstairs is a recipe book of sorts that Opal has made a point to collect from basically everyone they've ever met. So there's like Mr. Smith's chili with just a little note underword that said that she got this from his kitchen while they were investigating the murder of his dead wife. And that's just the entire book, is just recipes that she has taken kind of from crime scenes.
I love that.
She thinks she also has a note under Mr. Smith's chili that that recipe calls for too much tomato.
That's fantastic. If Kristen Lafreniere, the editor of the cookbook for our Kickstarter, is watching the stream, I hope that we do something like this in the book. So, all right. Fabulous. Thank you. Now, just as the meeting is ending, you hear heavy footsteps coming up the loft, and it is Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple. He explains to you that earlier today, the body of a wealthy financier from Boston, one Mr. Albert Krause, was dragged out of the bay dead. Mr. Krause and his family have been on a yachting vacation, and their boat is presently anchored a quarter mile from shore. The surviving Krauses are wife Allison, eldest daughter Sarah, son David, and youngest daughter Emily. They all assert that Mr. Kraus was drunk and simply fell overboard. Sheriff Dalrymple suspects foul play, but he hasn't been able to turn anything up. The body is currently being held in a cold storage at the fish market until it can be shipped back to Boston for a proper inquest and for the funeral. Brindlewood Bay does not have a morgue, despite the fact that Brindlewood Bay has the highest murder rate per capita in the country. It has no morgue, and so the body is currently being stored in the fish market. The Krauses have a friend. His name is Etienne Beauregard. Etienne works at the fish market. Some of you may know him because he's a local, and he has agreed to let the body stay in the freezer until it can be collected. Sheriff Dalrymple explains quite simply that he just needs some kind of evidence of foul play to justify keeping the body here and keeping the Krauses here. Otherwise, he'll be forced to turn the body over and they'll go back to Boston. So that's sort of the basic setup. And those are your suspects: Allison Kraus, Sarah Kraus, David Kraus, Emily Kraus. And I don't think we can rule out Etienne Beauregard, nor can we rule out a butler on the yacht. His name is Andrew. Now, we have an establishing question for this mystery. And I'm going to pose that question to Opal. Opal, you met one of the Kraus children several years ago, either Sarah, David, or Emily. What were the circumstances around that meeting? And they're all adults. They're all in their late 20s.
Sarah, as a prospective high school student, was looking into going into culinary school as a young woman. And back then, Opal was in her later years of teaching, and she showed Sarah around. She's a lovely young woman, but Sarah didn't end up going to culinary school. It seemed that other circumstances had come up. She never quite figured out what those other circumstances were, but there's people who come and go all the time, and prospective students.
Good.
No reason that could have been unusual.
Yeah, that's great. So you do have a connection then to the Krauses that might be useful. Another possible connection to the Krauses that may be useful is something that you might know, Millie, which is that Allison Kraus is one of the most prominent philanthropists and charity fundraisers on the Eastern Seaboard. And so you almost certainly know her name and reputation if you don't know her personally. So those are some another little interesting thing about the Krauses that might be helpful for you. And so Sheriff Dalrymple, who is always very exasperated and exhausted, he's a very jowly, paunchy older man. And he says, now believe you me, no one is more frustrated about having to ask for help from a bunch of old biddies than I am. But you know what you're doing, and you've helped us out in the past, and so I am here on bent knee asking for your help, Murder Mavens. But I must impress upon you, I do not need you to solve the case. I just need you to find me a piece of evidence that will justify keeping the Krauses here. I repeat, Alice, I do not need you to solve the case. That is something that the Brindlewood County Sheriff's Department is perfectly capable of handling on its own.
Would you like a cookie, young man?
Well, yes, I don't mind if I do. Thank you.
They are freshly made. Allow me to get the dish for him, Opal, and lean very intentionally in front of the wall of newspapers showing every case we've ever gotten. Lift the cookies and just says, "They're oatmeal raisin. I hope you don't mind."
Yeah, and I'm sure the Brindlewood Beacon likes to poke at the sheriff's department too, with like bumbling sheriff's department upstaged by book club women or whatever, right? Like, I'm sure there's lots of that, right? He says, Yes. Message received, Millie. Look, I just need some kind of justification here. Just some evidence of foul play. Something smells funny about this. Now, Etienne's got the body at the fish market. And if you want to go visit the yacht, Deputy Anderson will take you out on one of our boats. Is there anything else I can help you with before you begin?
I think we have everything set up how we need to have. Wyman, correct?
Yes, Wyman Dalrymple, Sheriff of Brindlewood County.
That's right. Yes, I remember now. I just want you to know, call us a biddy one more time, and I'll forget to send postcards that are painted by yours truly to your wife. She seems to enjoy them quite a bit.
Now, don't take offense. I use that term in the most affectionate manner possible.
Oh, Sheriff, no offense was taken. It applies to the same logic when we call you a pig.
He's like, very well, I get it. Fine.
Rest assured, Sheriff Dalrymple, the Murder Mavens will be capable, collected, and most importantly, collaborative with the local defense of the police department. But I'm curious, if you don't mind my asking, what seems so fishy about this case? Is there some sordid detail that was keen to your eyes?
Other than the fish market, that is.
Oh, yes, that is quite fishy. Oh, it smells horrid at this time of year.
Well, the only thing I'll say is that none of the Krauses, except for maybe the daughter Sarah, but none of the rest of them seem that torn up about the old man's death. And that makes me think, well, there might be more going on. I don't think he was well loved, Mr. Kraus.
Well, understood. Ladies, what say we get to it first thing in the morning?
Quite a bit.
That's a wonderful idea, darling.
Indeed, I have some postcards I have to finish painting for some of those that are nicer to us, as well as get to my evening watching of my stories.
Ooh, are you on
says,
Days of Our Lives still, or have you moved on to something better?
I forget that you said that Days of Our Lives is not top-tier programming, but yes, I am working my way through Days of Our Lives, and then it's Young and the Restless later. I hear that Victor can be quite vexing.
Ooh.
Sheriff Dalrymple says, well, if you would feel better looking in the morning, I think that's perfectly fine. I know that people of a certain advanced age have to go to bed fairly early. It is only 7 o'clock.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Well,
Indeed.
We'll get our beauty sleep, so we'll be prim and proper and ready to go. Thank you so much for stopping by, Sheriff Dalrymple. My best to your wife, Toodles. I'm shooing him out the door.
Oh, Sheriff, before you go,
Yes.
I'd happen to have extra produce from my garden. Would you be a dear? I left it by the counter. The zucchini crop has been wonderful this year.
And he tips his hat and makes his way downstairs.
As soon as the door is closed, Millie turns to her two companions and says, "We are absolutely not waiting until morning, ladies."
Oh, absolutely not.
Now,
Fantastic.
without Wyman breathing down our necks, let's get cracking.
Well, so
Fine.
let's go around the table. I want to find out what everyone's interested in doing. Just going one by one. Opal, what's your approach here? What do you think you want to do?
I think I'm going to visit the fishmonger to
Sounds
see
good.
how Etienne's doing and what I can maybe glean.
I love it. Alice, different ideas, or are you going to go there as well?
I think that Alice would do much better instead of visiting Etienne, maybe going to the yacht and speaking to, we should probably all go together. Yeah, fishmonger. Let's go fishmonger. Go ahead and go and give some backup in case, needs to be some muscle behind Opal's mind.
Millie, did you want to do that as well, or something
No,
else?
my friends are very capable. They can handle a fish market. I think that this case needs a particular touch. If we're dealing with socialites, then one must get social. I need to find my way to some sort of venue for gossip and stories of the Krause family. This mustn't be the first time they vacationed in Brindlewood Bay. Surely there must be stories of their previous visits here in town.
Certainly. Where would you? I mean, we can just make up some place, or if you have some particular idea.
Hmm. Is there a country club in like the area?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, like I love that. Let's do that. So like,
All right,
I'll
sounds good.
visit the country club.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, in that case, let's take a look, and I figure we'll probably just get like a round of scenes in, and then take
Sure.
a break after that. So that
Yeah,
sound
great.
Okay.
Sounds
To
great.
me.
Let's start with the fishmonger, or the fish market. Now, the thing about this fish market, the Brindlewood Bay Fish Market is the kind of place. Imagine like Pike Place in Seattle, right? It's like a tourist spot. Okay, yes, they sell fish, but it is more about like the fishmongers, like juggling fish and throwing fish to each other and performing for tourists, because Brindlewood Bay is first and foremost a tourist town, right? And so at night, the place is lit up with string lights, and there are families all over the place. And I have a paint the scene for everyone here, including you, Millie, even though you're not there. What do we see that reminds you of why you love the fish market? Or alternatively, what about this place makes you hate coming down here as a local? Whoever wants to answer first, go ahead.
I think this has very fond memories for Alice because it reminds her of the times that when she was still with Bernice was still alive, their time spending back at their old home before she moved to Brindlewood Bay after Bernice passed away, going to the fish market and going and finding, some like the best cuts, finding like a good quality like lobster, finding some decent salmon or tuna, what have you, whatever Bernice was looking for. And I think the smell is probably it's not the smell itself isn't fond, because that's kind of like the undercut of like the remorse of not having Bernice around anymore, but it's still kind of fun because she gets to walk around and look at everything, and it's a familiar area, so it feels safe.
That's nice. I like that. Thank you.
For Opal, this is basically home in a lot of ways. It reminds her of the chaos of her youth. It reminds her of all the places she's had to go and people she's had to haggle with as she is a home cook. She is not a culinary master. She is a home cook first. And this kind of atmosphere just gives her a lot of joy and a lot of excitement that, this is where I'm meant to be. This is the people I'm meant to be with. And she is notorious in this area for haggling prices absurdly low.
Fantastic. So that means you probably almost certainly know Etienne then.
Oh,
right,
yes,
who is the fishmonger.
absolutely.
Good. So
Millie can't stand it. Millie can't stand the fish market, truly despises it for a number of reasons, but the main two is she cannot abide the smell of fish. Like it is horrid. Her and her late husband Samuel.
That's a problem living in Brindlewood Bay, I feel like.
Yeah, right, exactly. She loves the smell of the sea, not so much the smell of fish. But she and her late husband Samuel had a wonderful private chef from Okinawa who did the wonderful work with like tuna and raw fish and a number of things, but it's like the smell of like just a fish market is just so unpleasing to her. She doesn't want to be like classist about it, but there's a sense of like, oh, there's not even it's just lying there on ice, ew. But the main reason she dislikes it is she went there once on a day trip to like purchase some like salmon for an event and walked blindly in the midst of a juggling act and got slapped right in the face by a bass. Just so she is not a fan.
Been there before.
That's a fabulous segue then, because I think there's probably a couple of approaches here, but you two can approach this however you wish or split up or whatever, but you don't necessarily have like easy access to the body because Etienne is a friend of the Krauses, and I think he's maybe not like necessarily super keen on people going around poking around with the body, especially if he's a suspect. And so that's like kind of one problem. The body is being held in this cold storage, which is in the back, and you might be able to sneak in through the back to get there to do that. Alternatively, you can just maybe ask Etienne to go see the body or ask someone else to help you see the body. Those are just two ways of approaching it, but you can kind of do whatever you want to do. But that's sort of big picture. It's kind of like an idea of how it might go. Having said that, though, what do you think your approach is going to be here, Opal?
Opal, I think, is going to talk to Etienne
Okay.
to see what he knows, what he's willing to share, and if he's not willing to share, then maybe providing cover for our dear Alice.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay. So the thing about Etienne is he plays this character when he's at work. He plays this like French Lothario sailor man, right? So that's like what he does. And you know this, even though he's not French, he's from here. So that's interesting. We'll put a pin in that for a moment. Alice, what are you going to be doing?
Oh, Alice is going to be playing the part of a, if Etienne likes to play a character, so does Alice. And Alice is going to be playing the part of a customer that is just merely perusing and might grab a key that might have been left out or looking, just keeping an eye out for entrances and exits and maybe opportunities to investigate. Yeah.
All right, good. Table set there. Let's cut over to Millie. So Millie, the Brindlewood Bay Country Club is I think the town is, so the thing about Brindlewood Bay is there's like the old guard of Brindlewood Bay, people who like trace their heritage back to the Deep Reaver, right? Which is the whaling ship that brought in a quote unquote whale, a strange whale, and then they cut up its parts and send it all over the world. And that's how the town was founded, essentially, is the funding from that. That's kind of the kind of people who hang out at the Brindlewood Bay Country Club, right? They don't love the touristy aspects of Brindlewood Bay. It's a thing they live with, but they don't love it. June Willoughby is probably the most, she's always there, right? When she's not doing other social functions. Mm-hmm. And are you just going straight in or what's your approach here?
I'll drive up to the country club, park, and I'll saunter on in. Millie will she'll be so polite and cordial. She has to make an entrance. And if she sees, is it June Willoughby? Yeah, if she sees June Willoughby, she'll be like, June, darling, it's so lovely to see you. It's been months.
June will turn around. June is, she's very put together. She's very, very old school Brindlewood Bay. The Willoughbys, Hale Willoughby was the first mate of the Deep Reaver. And she is always dressed in like, not unlike Opal, to be honest, like a very kind of chic, like kind of Jackie O sort of style, pencil skirts and well-tailored jackets, right? And pearls and beautifully coiffured blonde hair, which she keeps dyed blonde, despite the fact that she's around your age, maybe a little younger, but around your age. And she says, Millie, what a perfectly unexpected surprise.
Indeed, I am a fan of surprises, organized as they may be, but, well, here I am. How are things? I've been wanting to come by for so long. I've just been busy with social functions left and right. You know how it is.
Oh, yes. You and your causes, always raising money.
Well, somebody's got to look after the police department if they're just losing all that money.
Well, Millie, I am getting ready to go over the menu for tomorrow night's clam bake. I don't have a lot of time right now.
Darling, I'll be quicker than a breeze off the bay. Listen, I have a little. I'm curious. Did you know that the Krauses are back in town?
Oh, good. let's go ahead and do the meddling move.
Oh, love it.
So let's read the move. The move says, when you search for a clue, conduct research or otherwise gather information. Describe how you're doing it. You've done that, and roll with an appropriate ability. I think this is probably presence, so go ahead and roll with presence.
Okay. Ooh, not great. That is a 2 and a 3, 5 plus 2, 7.
Okay, it's not too bad. On a hit, you get a clue, and I'll tell you what the clue is in a moment. But on a 7 to 9, there's a complication, either with the clue itself or a complication you encounter while searching. I'll tell you what the complication is. We're going to pause that for a moment and cut back over to the fish market. So, Etienne is entertaining a group of families who look like they're from California or something. And he's wearing his little red beanie and his sort of like, like denim dungarees, he's got that whole thing going on. And he's got a big cod in his hands. And he's doing the whole like, les poissons, he, ha, 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 right? Doing all that. And he moves the fish in to pretend like it wants to kiss the dad in this like young family, and the dad's all, whatever. All this stuff is going on, right? And so what do you do?
I think she is going to approach kind of, not pushing people aside, but very much, like, this is my space. You are not people in my space. Please get out of my job and my environment. Yeah. And she's going to go up to Etienne and say, oh, don't you terrorize that poor man with that ugly thing.
He's like, oh, look, it is a local from Brindlewood Bay. Ha ha ha. And he does not talk like this for real. Mm-hmm. Right. So what do you say or do?
I feel like the fish has like been brought up to her face. Oh yeah,
the fish is like right up by your face. Yeah.
Well, my little fishy friend, I'm here to maybe what's the special for today, my good friend?
And he says, Madame, the special is love.
Can I cook with it?
And one of the tourists is like wanting him to get on with his little performance, right? Because they gotta go, right? And he says, one moment, I have to deal with a very, very pushy customer. And he kind of pulls you aside and says, Opal, what's going on? I'm in the middle of something here.
Oh, don't worry. This won't take very long. I am actually looking for some haddock for later tonight. But I couldn't help but overhear about Kraus, the Kraus family.
Ah, good. This is good. I think, well, let's keep it going. He says, what do you know about the Kraus family?
Well, I knew Sarah from all those years ago. The father apparently passed away, from what it sounds like.
Shh. No one knows that.
Okay. I'll keep it quiet.
Yes. Albert and Allison were. They were friends. I was a friend, and we don't have a morgue. The people at the country club and the town council keep voting that down because they don't think a morgue is the kind of thing that tourists would be into, and so the body is currently being held in the freezer. That's all there is to know.
I know. I feel so sorry for the girl. I want to know just a little bit. Just something that would help put her mind at ease. If you knew anything at all, darling.
Do the information move with presence, or I'm sorry, meddling move.
Meddling move, yeah.
It's another game.
Okay. That's an 11, I believe.
Oh, so close to a 12, which would be
so close.
You can always put on a crown. Bump it up and bump it up.
I think I will put on a crown.
Okay, do that. Look at your crowns and decide which one, either queen or void. And just so people watching the video know, the way this works is, I keep saying video, but it's a stream. So people watching the stream, like in the between, this game has a mechanic whereby if Meg wants to, the die result can get bumped up to the next level by engaging with it. And so here it's called putting on the crown of the queen or the crown of the void. The crown of the queen asks to sort of describe something about Opal, particularly Opal as a woman. That is sort of the theme. And the crown of the void is when it's kind of showing Opal maybe getting in touch with the dark conspiracy that underlies all of this. So choose wisely, Meg. While you're doing that, I'm going to cut over to Alice. So Alice, at the very least, Etienne is distracted. So what are you doing?
Alice is going to begin making her way around by the canned fish, sometimes occasionally moving a cart that has a bunch of boxes of not cod, but like, let's say flounder in it, moving it around, just kind of following behind, and is going to try to make her way stealthily to the freezers.
I love it.
If possible.
This is going to be the night move. Now, the night move says, when you do something, risky, and name what you're afraid will happen if you fail.
I am afraid that Alice is going to draw attention to herself.
And I have to say how it's worse than that. You are going to draw the kind of attention that is a shadowy individual connected to the murder who will kill you. So if you're okay with that, pick up your dice and roll with, I would say composure is probably the right roll.
Composure. I'll take composure. That's amazing. Okay, great. Yeah, wow. Stakes are high.
Yeah.
One shots. Well, that is a 6 and a 4 plus 1. That is an 11 as well.
Nice. Very good. Very good. On a 10 plus, you do what you intended or you hold steady. Go ahead and just describe it. Like, how are you? What's the sneaking look like?
So Alice, at one point before starting to sneaking, has been down and made sure that she's double knotted her boat shoes, and has been just kind of moving between the sacks and realizes there's a lot of open space behind Etienne and like where that leads to the freezers. And there's also a couple of other people that are working here with the fishmonger. So at one moment, you just see Alice panically like being to like the last place and just like, I'm so close, I'm this close, and then notices a garb, a tunic, like a fishmonger's tunic and a hat, and just goes ahead and throws it on and puts the hat on very quickly, and then just grabs a cart and wheels a cart of a bunch of crabs that are just sitting in like a crab cage, and just starts walking them to the freezer and just gives Opal a look and goes it just
Fabulous.
wheels over to the freezers.
I love it. You're in the freezer. Awesome. Let's cut over back to we'll go to Millie. Millie, you got a 7-9, right?
7 to 9.
Yeah. So June says, well, the Krauses, big money from Boston. They like to come into town once a season and throw their cash around. In fact, Allison Krause likes to throw a little bit more around than just her money. Did you know, for example, that she has a lover here in Brindlewood Bay? A lover that is half her age.
Oh my, no, I did not. Where did you hear?
A young private in the army, if you can believe it.
Where did you hear such a salacious rumor, June?
She's like, well, you know, these things get around. I don't have to tell you that, Millie.
No, indeed. Well, that was, it's interesting. And, well, they haven't come up to the country club, have they?
Well, she, of course, would never be seen here with her little boy toy.
Of course not.
But,
But?
well, here's the complication.
Okay.
She says, as it turns out, I'm supposed to go over to the Regal Lady. That's the name of their yacht. The Regal Lady tonight, in fact, for a little bit of late night cocktails.
Cocktails, but just a moment ago you weren't so fond of them. Oh, June, you have not changed.
Well, I mean, whatever happens out on the open sea is, stays on the open sea, right?
Well, indeed, but I mean, perhaps, I mean, it's so late. Aren't you worried that...
You should come with me, Millie.
Well, I mean, who am I to say no to such a frank invitation? I don't want to impose.
Unless of course you're embarrassed to be around Alison Krauss. She is a fundraiser of significant more prominence than you.
Embarrassed? Why, no, of course I'm not embarrassed.
I wouldn't want you to feel nervous or self-conscious.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean,
your most successful fundraiser raised about, what, $150,000?
$155,000, but...
And Allison's last fundraiser was north of $3 million. I'm just, I could see why you might feel a little intimidated.
No, not at all. I'm actually rather excited by the prospect. I would love to learn her techniques and know what she does that is so wildly successful.
How do you actually feel?
Oh, I'm feeling absolutely like mortified on the inside. I'm like, for two reasons, which is like, one, it's like, I don't want to go to a ship alone. I might get murdered. And also, and I think the second one is I am truly embarrassed and mortified by this, like this
Take
approach.
the condition mortified.
I will. That's great.
And she says, well, my little dinghy sets sail in an hour after I'm done with this clam bake planning.
I'll meet you at the dock. I will leave you to your clams. Oh, yes, I look forward to it, dear. Toodles.
Fantastic. Let's check back in with the other characters. Opal, which crown did you choose, first of all? Oh, you're muted.
I need to unmute myself first. That would help. I chose a scene in the present day showing a burgeoning romance.
Do you want to narrate it now or wait till later?
Sure, I think so.
Go for it. Yeah.
So as Opal is kind of just fast talking Etienne and also in the same motion looking over the haddock and the tilapia and the sardines that she's like, oh, that'd be nice for a fish. We see a little cutaway of her preparing a fish very similar, probably a tilapia, and it's a whole tilapia, the head and everything, and she is covering it with chilies and garlic and spices and sauces, and you see an older gentleman. He looks to be probably Chinese, and he's looking in and he's going, "Opal, Opal's it done? No, it does not. And it won't be done for another hour, you absolute fiend." And then you just see her chuckling to herself as she continues prepping the fish and all of the other ingredients. And this older gentleman is waiting at the dinner table, chuckling to himself while he pours 2 glasses of wine.
I love it. You snap out of your reverie briefly, and Etienne's not there anymore. But a book has been pressed into your hand. It's a diary. And there is a page marked with the ribbon bookmark. If you open it up, it says in big, scratchy letters, "I just can't take it anymore."
She looks at it, pages through a couple more, closes it, puts it in her very nice purse, and then proceeds to grab a tilapia.
But the void clue.
Void clue.
There are no tourists around either. In fact, the whole place seems to have emptied out. But in the shadows, you see a group of people on the periphery. I'd say about a dozen. They all turn in unison. And when they turn, you see that they are wearing heavy black robes. And they're wearing masks carved to look like the faces of like a Greek statue or goddess or something, right? Or god. And they all in unison point out to the sea. What do you do?
She takes the fish and she goes up around where she would normally be paying for it. Is anyone there?
No.
She leaves the money on the counter and she wraps it herself, puts it in a bag, and the chorus is still there.
They're all still there, and they're all still pointing out into a spot in the ocean. You can see it, the direction they're pointing. They're pointing at, you can see the yacht silhouetted by the moon. And you can see something rising up from behind the yacht. It's unclear what it is. It could be another boat. But whatever it is, it's bigger. And it's shadowy.
Are they doing filming again here? Was I not told about this?
And then almost as quick as that happened, all of these people disappear into the shadows, and customers and stuff like come back, and they're going back to shopping and chatting and laughing. How do you feel?
Unnerved.
Take the condition unnerved. And that feels like a good place for a break.
Excellent. All right. We'll be back in a few minutes to continue this, and I am terrified. All right.
Fantastic.
Be right back.
Okay, so let's just check in on clues real quickly before we continue. You currently have 2 clues, and I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with that. The first is that Allison Krauss has a young lover who is a private in the Army, and he is local. And there is a diary with a page marked. On the page, it says, "I just can't take it anymore." We have not established who the diary belongs to yet. We could theoretically do that now, or you can save it for Theorize and define whose diary it is at that time. So I'll let you kind of decide as a play group. But in any case, that's where we stand. And we're going to pick up with Alice in the freezer. So Alice, you've managed to sneak back to the freezer. And as previously described, there are shelves of fish, like packed in ice. And on one shelf, there is a body. It is wrapped in a tarp. They've done that much at least, but it is definitely body shaped. So what do you do?
Realizing that it's cold in here and not wanting to spend too much time in case a fishmonger comes back here looking for crabs that have gone missing. Alice is going to very quickly go over to the body, carefully unwrap it, and try to see if there was any something that seemed a little bit extraneous than what was described as maybe cause of death or things of that nature. Seeing if there was something that's being hidden by
something other than just drowning, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that. Go ahead and roll the meddling move with reason.
Ooh, I've got none on that. Oh, no, reason. I've got +1. It's fine. We're fine. Okay, here. We're fine. That's a 6.
6.
Mm-hmm.
You hear someone whistling the Andy Griffith Show tune down the hall.
Oh no, that's
I'm not going to whistle it, but it's like it is a member of the Brindlewood Bay County Sheriff's Department, or Brindlewood County. It is Deputy Brett Anderson. He is a great big hulk of a man. He's normally a bike cop, and so he's in his little bike cop uniform. Barely fits. He's practically bursting out of it. And he walks by the freezer door and then backs up and turns. What are you doing in the meantime?
You
can avoid this, by the way, by marking a crown. Or
I am going to mark a crown as much as I would like to have a scene with this absolute himbo.
Oh, but what about the beefcake?
Himbo deputy.
Yeah, this
Deputy
himbo.
himbo.
I'm going to mark
Himbo.
Deputy Himbo. Yes, I'm going to mark the first crown of the void.
Oh, read it to us.
A shadow
in the garden, right?
The garden.
Yeah.
Yes. Hereafter, during cozy vignettes focused on you or cozy move scenes involving you, you must also narrate how dark entities subtly reveal themselves in the scene.
Now, since we may not have time to do another cozy vignette or move in a one shot, instead, I'm going to ask you, unbeknownst to Alice, something weird is happening with the fish in the background. The viewers of the TV show can see it. Alice cannot. What is happening? It's probably right around the same time as the midwife showing up in the shopping part, right? What's going on there?
So I like to say that as this is going on, as Alice is looking and the deputy is whistling past, the camera can see behind the fish are also whistling the Andy Griffiths theme tune. And in their eyes that are normally, you know how fish eyes look, instead of eyes, they seem like tiny little pomegranates.
Like red jewel.
Good.
I love it. Deputy Himbo just walks by. You're perfectly fine. No worries there. And you're looking at the body. And you do, in fact, find something. Now, I will tell you that it looks like Mr. Krause suffered from some kind of blunt force trauma to the head. There's blood, dried up, caked blood underneath the hair. That's actually not your capital C clue. It's good context for the mystery, but it's not your clue. Your clue, did I mention how bad the sheriff's department is at their job? Your clue is inside his smoking jacket, he's wearing like a smoking jacket, is a waterlogged yellow manila envelope. What do you do?
Not noticing the whistling fish or anything.
Yeah, you don't notice any of that. Yeah.
Alice is going to, against better judgment, going to grab the waterlogged manila envelope. That's a capital C clue. You have to. How could they miss it? Yeah. How could Wyndham?
They're really bad at their jobs.
How could Wyman miss it? Wyman.
Do you open up the envelope?
Of course, I have to. Even though it's a little chilly in here. Like
the papers are faded because it was in the ocean, but you can make out well enough that it is a stack of receipts for very extravagant purchases, like artwork in the thousands of dollars, furs, things like that, right? Just massive purchase. Lots of artwork though, like paintings, sculptures, lots of like receipts from like galleries, right? Yeah. But that's your capital C clue.
God.
And oh yeah, he got hit in the head at some point. So
could Millie actually like call Alice at this very inopportune moment? So in the quiet of the fish freezer, you just hear do 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 do. Her phone starts ringing.
I think it's fabulous. Yeah. Do it. Millie or Alice, your phone's ringing.
Just gonna jump. Alice is gonna jump and be like, and then I think yes.
Alice, how's the fish market?
Cold.
I can imagine. Did you find anything out?
Yes, I did actually.
Splendid. I can't wait to hear about it. Look, there's been a complication.
Oh.
I'm currently en route driving down this scenic road to the harbor front. I've been invited by June. You remember June from the country club? I've been invited to go to get cocktails at the Krause's yacht.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed. And I'm suddenly vexed by the thought that it might not be wise to go alone with June Willoughby to the site of the murder.
June Willoughby, you said?
Yes.
That's the worst one.
Oh, she's awful. Can't stand her.
Would you so happen to have a +2 invite?
I don't imagine I do, but I mean, we are the Murder Mavens of Brindlewood Bay. I'm sure we'd be, if nothing else, a tourist's fancy to pass by unannounced. And, well, they did recently have a death in the family, so 2 birds, 1 stone.
Oh, yes. And here I was, looks over at a basket, and he goes, gonna deliver all these prawns as a consolation gift. I'm so sorry.
Ooh, I've heard that Bostonians love prawns. That's an excellent idea, Alice.
Indeed.
Sorry about your dad. Here's some prawns.
I'll go ahead and grab Opal and some prawns, and we'll make our way down to the harbor. Toot sweet.
Wonderful. I look forward to seeing you. Toodles.
Toodles. June.
Okay, so that's good. We'll get the 2 of you together and possibly Opal as well. Opal, you have a very good clue, and Etienne actually is nowhere to be found. Etienne never came back. So what do you do?
I definitely think she's going to wait for Alice to come around while she is just holding her wrapped up tilapia, kind of just looking out over the ocean. I'm pretty sure that's where Alice finds her, just kind of in a little bit of a stupor.
We'll just put the 2 of you together. Go for it.
You see, I'm kind of chattering, and I've got the bag full of prawns, and I go, "Oh, good gracious, Opal! It seems that it's I have some new. Are you okay?"
Either the movies have gotten really good with their practical effects, or I saw a vision. And I can't tell which one.
Vision smidgen. I've got something twice as juicy for you. It seems that our dear friend Millie is on her way down the Brindlewood Scenic Highway to the harbor to make her way to the yacht of one dear dead patriarch of the Krause family. And it seems that she might need some backup, but don't worry. I've got our invitation right here, and I'm going to hold up the bag of prawns. And
I think she looks at that for a second and looks back out to the harbor. You know, you say vision smidgen, but the vision was of that yacht. And she just points out into the bay. So I think, omen or not, let's get going.
Let's get our window. I have to warn you, June Willoughby's going to be there.
Oh, that old bat. Look, pardon my language, but she's definitely a witch with a B.
You can just say it. It's okay, Opal. Nobody's around.
Yes, but you know, it's the propriety of it all.
Where did everybody go, by the way? It's just empty all of a sudden.
I said, never mind. She's just going to go get the car.
Let's fast forward to being on the little boat with June Willoughby, the 3 of you. And June says, of course, it is somewhat, well, gauche to show up with a +3, but I'm sure that the Krauses will love to hear your little stories about solving murders here in town. Yes, I read the papers, ladies.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Yes, and oh, Alice, you brought a consolatory gift of prawns. How local.
It's a tradition, I hear.
June says, so the three of you all seem to be a little like you've got something on your mind. Out of character, I don't think she knows about Albert Krause, right?
On our mind? Whatever do you mean, June?
Well, just that when I mentioned that I couldn't wait to talk with Albert about George and I, our portfolio, you all sort of rolled your eyes and looked at each other conspiratorially.
Oh, you hadn't heard. Forgive me. I thought you were misspeaking. June, I'm so sorry. I thought you knew everything. I thought all word reached your ears. Dear, I'm afraid Mr. Krause has been murdered.
What? Gasp. Literally clutches her pearls.
Yes, it's a very, very sorry story. We were actually going to head our way there just to, pay our respects.
Oh, hold on just a second.
Stop the boat.
By being here with you right now and going to that yacht, I'm going to be in the list of suspects, aren't I?
Yes, indeed, you are an accomplice now. Welcome to the club.
You are already on a list of suspects in my book. This is just
this is outrageous.
Alice, stop it.
This is outrageous. I mean, all right, fine. It's true. Albert and I had an affair. You broke me. Fine.
I did? We did? We did.
But that doesn't mean I killed him.
Yes. Everyone knew that.
Is that a capital?
Everyone.
Is that a capital C clue?
No.
No. Dang it.
That's a lowercase c clue.
Okay, fine.
Something tells me, June, that if you did kill Albert Krause, you would have told us by now.
And indeed, you're not on our list of suspects. Darling, I know you all too well. You were obviously at the country club last night planning the clam bake 2 days in advance, so you couldn't have been on the boat when Albert was murdered the other night.
No, of course not.
Unless you were.
No, you're right. Clam bake.
Indeed. Well, we shouldn't leave the Krauses waiting. I'll turn the boat back on.
You do get to the boat, the Regal Lady, and they have like one of those little like landing platforms in the back. You can kind of climb up and clamber up. There is the aforementioned butler, Andrew, is there. He's in his description here. He is gray hair, fastidious, quite eloquent. He sees you all and says, Miss Willoughby, I didn't know you were going to be bringing guests. It appears I have to get 1, 2, 3 more drink orders. Splendid. Ladies, what can I get you?
Vodka cranberry, please.
You'll have champagne. Thank you very much.
I will have champagne.
Champagne.
Excellent choice, ma'am. And you, madam?
Aperol spritz, and I brought some prawns.
Yes, he takes the prawns and looks at them disdainfully and says, I do love Brindlewood Bay. I love coming here. It's my favorite of all the family's vacation destinations. And a paint the scene question about the Regal Lady. As you step aboard the yacht, what do you see that indicates these people have more money than they know what to do with?
The floors are Brazilian teak.
Oh.
The floors are Brazilian teak, and it has been replaced in the past 2 years. And you can tell it's been replaced in the past 2 years because it is perfect. There's not a scuff mark, and it seems like they just have the money to keep replacing it.
Love it. I will say here also that this whole environment is, you can invoke Frank Colombo. Like, this is a good chance to do it. I think you do like once per session.
I'll look at it. Everyone else can keep going.
Yeah.
I here's an idea. It's a little wild. The real Mona Lisa is on display on this boat.
Good. Fabulous. And it's apparently where you can see it from the top deck.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Good.
There's not one, not two, but there are 3 helicopter landing pads just in case.
It's very good. Backup helicopter landing pads.
Just in case.
The Regal Lady is enormous. And Andrew says that cocktails will be in the lounge down in the first deck below. But first, he will send for you, or they will come get you when it's time. And he's going to go get your drinks, kind of leaving you all topside. June says, I better go check in with Allison. And June leaves with Andrew. And at near the front of the boat, you hear someone, a young man, hollering, Andrew, are you going to bring me my lemon, or do I have to squeeze it from my hat? And so there's someone up there. And you can hear some chatter down below, quite loud sobbing coming from down below. So let's go around the table and find out what everyone's interested in doing, starting with Alice.
I'm gonna go towards the sobbing. Alice hears the screeching about lemons and hats, and then goes, I'm going to the exact opposite place of where that is. I'm going down below deck. Crying I can handle. Screeching, not so much.
Opal, what about you?
I think she's also going to go towards the crying. She's very specifically looking for Sarah, just because she knows Sarah.
Yeah, that is Sarah. I'll tell you that right now. Because as noted by Sheriff Dalrymple, she's the only one who seems upset about Albert's death. What about you, Millie?
A disturbance of a drink's lemon. I need to placate this immediately and ensure everyone's having an excellent time on board. I'm going to go
start with that.
Yeah, to the sound, the yelling.
We'll start there. There is a built-in jacuzzi in the front part of the ship, and there is a young man submerged in the jacuzzi up to basically up to his eyes, and he's wearing sunglasses in the middle of the night. And he comes out of the water and says, who are you? I don't know you.
Mildred Davenport, darling, you must be house on the tip of my tongue.
What are you doing here?
I heard you were in need of lemon, and your dear butler Andrew was often busy, so I thought I'd come help you. You were making such a fuss. I don't want to have you without your lemon, darling.
Yes, that's very kind. 2 slices, please.
2, indeed. Seeds picked out, or do you like them in?
Do I even have to answer that question?
All right, then, seeds out. I go get two lemon slices from I assume there's like a bar nearby, like a
there's
wet
a bar nearby. Yeah.
Get some lemon slices, and I will put them in a little cup and just kind of bob it and push it through the water over to him.
He comes out of the water a little bit more, and he's squeezing his lemon into his drink. And he says, I like you. I like your vibe.
Thank you, darling. You must be David, yes?
Yes, David Krause.
David Splendid, heard all about you. Your mother, I must add, is an idol of mine, though I am intrigued to meet the children. I've known very little about yourself. Is there anything I can get you at all, aside from the lemons?
I like your sense of style.
Oh, why, thank you.
Structured shoulder pads. It's very 1986 chic. That sort of thing is coming back, isn't it?
Oh, of course. I assume.
I don't interact with the elderly very often, but I like
darling, neither do I.
You said you know my mother or something?
No, I know of your mother. I'm a local here in Brindlewood Bay. I gesture out to the lights of the town. I wanted to pass along my consolations for the passing of your father, Albert.
Right.
Condolences,
thank
not
you.
Consolations. Condolences.
I'm very torn up about it. It's a lot right now to deal with.
Indeed. A lot. I hope you don't mind my prying, darling, but it seems very well like Albert took this thing around the world. I've seen pictures of it in Borneo, Belize, Spain. I heard he fell overboard. One would think your father, a seasoned seaman, would be more careful on the waves.
Yes, well, it's very tragic. So, have you ever been to Boston?
Oh, yes, many times with my late husband. We made many trips to Boston. I'm originally from New York City myself.
So then you've probably been to one of my galleries, most likely.
One of your galleries. When was the last time? Oh, a gallerist. Fascinating. My daughter works at the Met. When's the last time you had one open there, darling?
And he says, well, we've had a bit of a cash flow problem lately.
Is that right? Is there anything I should know specifically? I do a frequent amount of money handling myself. Are there particulars I should be aware of? Maybe I can point you in the right direction, or at least offer some intelligence.
Do the meddling move with presence.
Great. I assume mortified is getting in the way of this.
I'm gonna make you roll a disadvantage because you don't have the same Frank Columbo powers.
I don't. At least I'm just good at presence, though. Okay, that's actually nice. That is an 11, and I'm feeling good. Might as well. I'll bump it up as well.
Go for it.
Because it might as well, right? One shot.
Yeah.
I'll do Crown of the Queen, and I will take a look in a second and see what's going on. Yeah.
Let's cut over to. So it sounds like you're both going to the crying, the weeping, which is it's just right below. You go down below deck, and there's a little salon off to the left, sort of done up in lots of kind of like Wedgwood blue and mauve in the salon. And a young woman wearing a very, very heavy sort of like cable knit sweater. She's sitting on the couch and she's sobbing quite loudly. Oh God, why? Oh Daddy, why? Why? It is Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, darling.
She looks up. She says, yes.
You probably don't remember who I am.
I do.
You do?
I do. Professor Satan.
Come here.
And she's like, what are you doing here?
Oh, I heard from a friend. I heard about what happened to your father. And I remembered your face, and I remembered it was a lovely day together.
I will check in with Alice and say, Alice, I think Opal's got this one under control.
Oh, definitely.
If you want to keep going down the hall.
Alice is gonna go like, oh, they're very much connected. Oh, that's great. Oh, wow, is that Brazilian teak? Oh, wow, amazing. Oh, bathrooms this way, perfect. I got my boat shoes on and everything. Perfect. All right.
I will tell you that on this floor of the boat, there actually is like a little art gallery on this floor.
Oh, perfect.
There's also a door that's ajar going into a dark room. Who knows where that goes? Yeah, what do you do?
I'm gonna clock that door that's ajar. I'm gonna say, that seems like that's something for laters. But I am going to go into the art gallery and see if there's anybody there, if there seems to be anything interesting. Can't say no to a good art gallery.
The art gallery, when you step inside, you see June is there chatting with another woman who you presume is Alison Krauss. She's very thin, very graceful looking. She's wearing lots of very like stylish black and white clothing. And she's like, well, it's just like Albert to go and get himself killed when I'm on the precipice of charity fundraiser greatness. The man could be so self-involved. And June's like,
I agree. I'm going to come be like, I agree. That's why I stuck with women for most of my career. Isn't that right, Willow Tree?
She turns and says, and you are?
Oh, How rude of me. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name's Alice.
Oh, I'm Alice's son. What a charming coincidence.
Very, very, almost like fates have crossed over us this evening.
June says, this is one of the legendary murder mavens of Brindlewood Bay, Allison. And she sort of talks about some of your exploits. And after she's done, Allison says, so I suppose you're here to find out which one of us killed my husband.
Yes, so that might be something that we're looking into. But most importantly, I'm trying to look into that. Would you say is that a Bacall? Or would you say that's an Arnold McGraw of Under Zion Valley? Interesting.
I don't know anything about art, except its value.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting indeed.
I'll leave you to it. I have to go check on the cocktails. And she goes, and June goes as well.
I hate snobs. Snobs are the worst. Critics.
So what do you do when they're gone?
Knowing that there's probably nobody else around here, knowing that I've probably chased Allison Krause and Julia Guglio away, or June, not Julia, old June Bug away, I'm going to go to that slightly ajar door. That's perfect time.
Good.
Perfect time.
We'll check back in on that in a moment. Let's go back over to Millie. You have 12. David says, yes, it's very tragic. My father, dead. I'm reminded, of course, of the great performance artist Galbai. Do you know Galbai? He was so committed to his work. He threw himself from the top of a 5-story building. The ultimate artistic expression, if you ask me. If only my father's death could have been so significant, but unfortunately he lacked vision.
Indeed, yes. No, I'm not familiar with Galbai. How fascinating. Vision. He lacked vision. I thought he was an extremely successful financier.
Well, not so successful that he couldn't keep all of his children in the will.
Oh my. Darling, were you cut off?
Someone was. We don't know who. We only know that the lawyer called and left instructions that the person he wanted cut from the will was cut from the will.
And you don't know who? Oh, darling, that must be mortifying.
Yes, well, my father died in an unremarkable way, but he was nevertheless obsessed with gestures of, frankly, obscene cruelty. I'm sure he couldn't wait to reveal who was getting cut out. I guess he's not going to get the chance to now, is he?
And what do you think, David, if I might be so blunt? Do you agree with the official inquest, or do you lean more towards murder? Foul play?
Oh, I'm fairly certain that one of my sisters killed him.
One of your sisters? What makes you so certain?
Well, they have the motive.
And you don't?
Of course not. I'm an angel.
A gallerist angel.
Indeed.
Like the Sistine Chapel, a cherubic angel.
He's kind of sinks back down to the water a little bit. He says, I like you.
Thank you, darling. I'm fond of
We
you
should
as
be
well.
friends.
We should. I don't use Facebook, though. I find it confusing and weird. Oh, all right. Well, see you around. Okay.
You got a 12 plus.
Yes, I did.
Which is a void clue. And I think, I'm just going to take over a bit if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think you were drawn down below by a very strange mechanical sound. Heavy machinery, probably coming from the engine room. You go down a couple of decks and you realize that it's not the droning of machinery at all. it's chanting. What initially sounds like changes to coming from somewhere very, very deep in the bowels of the yacht. How do you feel?
That's a great question. I feel at the same time intrigued, but also afraid. Like there is
Your champagne, madam.
Oh! She like shrieks and like jumps and gets to collect herself, and she turns around and sees Andrew's like, Andrew, you startled me.
Andrew says, are you quite lost, madam?
Oh, I am the most lost I've ever been, darling. I was looking for, you're going to laugh. I was looking for the billiards room. I heard you have a pool table, and I was hoping to knock a few balls into those pockets.
I'd be happy to show you there. Follow me, please.
Yes, indeed.
And he's taking you away and up.
Mm-hmm.
And take the condition on edge.
Oh, amazing.
But you got your clue, though. Somebody was cut out of the will.
Great.
And a void clue, incidentally.
Yeah.
Let's cut over to poor Sarah. She is sad. She is bereaved. She's the only one who seems to be bereaved. So let's continue that scene. So she's like, I just can't believe it. It's just unbelievable.
I was inconsolable when my husband died. Don't just cry it out.
Thank you. I hope this doesn't seem too weird to say, but it's nice to be around someone with warmth and maternal instinct.
Not your mother? She's not one of those?
No, she's as cold as your friend's prawns.
Some mothers were meant to lead. Some mothers perhaps should have stayed single. It's an unfortunate lesson that you only learn once you've had it.
So what are you doing here again?
Oh, well, okay. So I did hear about you, and I'm worried about you, but well, ever since I've moved to Brindlewood Bay, you might have read about me and my friend's little exploits with the Murder Mavens.
Oh, yes. That's you?
That's
the women who solve murders.
I never thought I'd get into it, but
Wait,
everyone has hobbies after.
Are you here
tired.
looking into my father's death? Do you think someone killed him?
Well, you don't think so.
Well, I think he got drunk and fell overboard, and or at least that's what we're supposed to say, anyway.
Do you think something happened to him?
Make the meddling move with presence.
Okay.
And if you want to take Frank Columbo,
Yeah,
you can
I'll take
definitely do so.
I'll take Frank Columbo.
Yeah, and it says, basically once per session when you do the meddling move.
Yep, even on a miss.
Even on a miss, you get a clue. So yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. That's going to be that's a 7.
Okay, so you'll get 2 clues, but there's a complication. We'll come back to that in a moment. Let's check in with that office and Alice. It is an office. When you peek your head in there, it's dark, but you can click the light on and see that there's desk and papers and things like that. What do you do?
Recognizing the importance of a waterlogged manila envelope with very expensive receipts, Alice is going to close the door and is going to make her way to that desk and look at the papers and maybe see if there's any like some art transactions or things of that nature that might be going down. Anything that might seem connected to any of the kids, especially.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do a quick paint the scene here, everyone. As Alice scans the office, what here shows that the Krauses might have more money troubles than they let on.
Albert Krause, this is his office.
Yeah, or
his
someone's office.
his laptop is like kind of like propped up still on the counter, and he you know, it doesn't have like a password or a save screen. It just laissez-faire about that, and it's open to like an email from some debtors who were calling due repeatedly. There's like a
Or
list.
creditors, yeah.
Oh, creditors, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Love it.
There's a stack of letters that's on, you know, his in box that basically say, this is your final notice, and it's about 6 inches deep.
Yeah, good.
There is a corner of the office that we, the audience, can see, but Alice may not be able to see, where there is a little shelf area that pops out. And it's a little bit ajar, and inside you can see there are multitudes, almost like posters hanging up in like a Spencer's Gifts or a Hot Topic, counterfeit art that's just kind of like sitting there just in case it needs to get framed and everything and put out to make them seem like they have expensive art.
I love it. A lot of good context for the mystery here, but let's go ahead and do a meddling move with reason as you poke around here.
Excellent. That is an 8 + 1, a 9.
You'll get your clue in a moment. But while you're looking around, the lights go out. The door slams shut. Pah. And there's someone in the office with you. Their voice is disguised with a modulator, so you can't tell if it's a man or a woman or masculine or feminine voice. And you can't see them. But they say, I recommend you stop looking into this matter.
That's what your mother said to me last night.
So that's how you want to play it, huh? And there's just enough light coming from the laptop for you to see the glint of gunmetal appearing out of the shadows. We shall put a pin in that for a moment. Go back over to Millie. And so he takes you to the billiards room. Mm-hmm. The third Crouch child, Emily, is there. She is much more laid back, wearing a flannel and jeans, kind of like long brown hair. And she's just sitting on the pool table on her phone. What do you do?
Can I like stop? I've been very paranoid, on edge, like looking around, like at every like corner, like scanning with my eyes. But I kind of like stop and I turn to Andrew and I say, "It seems I finished my champagne on the walk up. Would you be a dear and get me a refill, darling?"
He says, "Yes, of course, madam." And he
Thank
takes.
you.
He actually waits for you to put the glass on the tray.
There you are. My hand's shaking a little bit.
Goes.
I clearly need more. I just kind of like pause once he's out of sight, and I kind of like step into the room, look over at Emily, and eventually speak up, and I say, "Fan of pool?"
She looks up and says, "Yeah, we have a pool."
No, darling, I meant you're sitting on the pool table. Is it a comfy spot?
Oh, yeah. She gets up. She's like, I just.
Oh, please!
Sometimes...
It's your boat. Don't get up on my account.
Do you play pool? Do you want to play pool?
Oh, do you play? Do you enjoy playing pool? I used to play with my husband, Samuel, my late husband, all the time. If you're not too busy, of course. It seems you're just texting away.
Right. So, who are you again?
Pleasure. My name is Mildred Davenport. I was passing by for cocktails, and I'd like to just say my condolences for the loss of your father.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's real
I don't mean to be
bad.
Oh, yes, indeed it is. I don't mean to be blunt, darling, but I am me and my friends, the other two up somewhere on your
I'm sorry. Can we just like put a pin in that for a sec? I have to reply to this DM. Hold on.
Of course, have to take your time. DMs, such fancy terminology. I feel like I'm like just pacing and idly like trailing a finger along the pool table. And I'm just kind of like angling an eye to see like what she's up to on her phone.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a meddling move with composure,
which I have very little of at this moment. Yeah.
And I think, given your on edge state, take it at disadvantage as well.
Yeah, we'll do. Actually, hold on. Can I use an item? Let's see if I can use an item for my cozy little place.
Yeah, maybe you might have something that would cancel it out.
Don't think I have anything. Can I argue that like I like Millie like reaches into her pocket and like uses the thumb to like stroke the broken metal wristwatch as like a calming gesture of like a reminder of her son. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. All right.
So that'll cancel out the disadvantage and make it flat dice.
Great. Love it. Oh, and this is plus reason. That's an 11.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, composure. Sorry, composure. That's an 11. Yeah. So.
And we'll come back to that in a moment.
Great.
Okay, so I owe you 2 clues, Opal, because of Frank Colombo. So she says, Professor Satang, there's so much going on here. We learned. Mm-hmm. We learned just last week, for example, that Emily is apparently not my father's child. So, as you might imagine, there's been quite a bit of tension as a result. That's clue number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then several nights ago, I heard a really, really bad argument between my mother and my father. I don't know what they were fighting about. I'm sure it has something to do with this Emily situation, but maybe not. I don't know. It was a real knockdown, drag-out fight. Things were shattered. Words that can't be unsaid were said. And I know something else, Professor.
Mm-hmm.
The night of my father's death, I saw who pushed him overboard. It was
putting on a mask for that. Hell no.
So you can put on a crown if you wish, or alternatively, I'll give you the option.
Crown for you.
Alternatively, I'll give you the option we can do what's called cut to commercial.
Ooh, let's do that. Let's do that one.
Let's do that.
I'll give you a prompt, and we'll give you a minute to think about it. We'll come back to it. In fact, it might be a good time it'll take a little break, in fact. But I'll give you the prompt, and when you come back, if you narrate the commercial based off the prompt, then you get a 10 plus on your roll. So
okay.
So you don't have to worry about whatever's about to happen to Sarah. Your prompt is for a pizza restaurant, a Chuck E. Cheese's style pizza restaurant called Calamity Raccoon's Good Time Pizza Farm. So,
okay. I'll think of something.
Let's take a few minutes,
all right,
shall we?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cut to break,
we'll come back and do that.
We'll be back.
Cut to break.
All right. We'll be back soon.
Take it away, Meg.
Hello, all you boys and girls, all of you in between. Please come down to Calamity Raccoon's Animal Barn. We've got pizza, we got calzones, and it is the best place for youngins like you to have your special day with us. We've got arcades, we've got a stage, and trust me, you're gonna have the absolute time of your life. Remember, tell your parents, kids. if you call now and book a year in advance, you get a special discount and 10 free meals.
I think it was a bit of prawn. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Just do remember to chew slowly. It really does help. Like, I know.
Well, I'm grieving.
I know, but it's still important to chew your food carefully. That's why your parents tell you that when you're a kid. It's not because we want you to slow down. It's really you just don't want to choke.
So, as I was saying, I don't know for sure if he pushed my father, but I know that Andrew was on the deck at the same time as him. And I don't want to go casting aspersions on the help. But, well, I don't know. But your clues, your capital C clues that she gave you are the argument between Alice and Albert, and the quite rather large clue that Emily may not be Albert's child. So yeah. Okay, so then let's kind of carry on to another scene real quick. Let's go back over to, Millie. You have a gun trained on you right now.
Alice has the gun trained on
Sorry,
you.
Alice. Yeah, sorry, Alice. You have a gun trained on you right now. What do you do? You hear the of the hammer being cocked back.
You know, this could remind me of a show called Dallas, but it also reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacour.
Oh, yeah. So here's how this works. The Gold Crown Mysteries move. This, let's read the move for people watching the stream. It says once per session, although 2 because of, I think it's Alice's connection to Robin Masterson, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When any Maven says, this reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacour, all 3 of you work together to describe something, how something that's happening in the current situation reminds you of an event from one of the Gold Crown Mysteries starring Amanda Delacour. At a minimum, you got to tell me the name of the Gold Crown Mystery, the problem or situation Amanda found herself in that is similar to what is being experienced by Alice, and how Amanda eventually overcame the problem. And then you take a 12 plus to a single roll or state a fact about the current situation that I have to incorporate. So this is an out of character sort of thing. Name of the mystery, what was going on, and how did she solve it?
I got a title of the book. Okay. It was called Darkness by Design.
Okay, good.
It was all about like an illicit underground counterfeit like art dealing, money printing, and like there's like a red room, just like a lot of darkness. And there was maybe there was like a scene in the dark where Amanda Delacour had a gun to her back or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what did she do to get out of it?
She and all of her wiles and everything, because she's Amanda Delacour, and so she handles things not exactly with fists, but she handles them with wiles and wisdom and the charm and all that good stuff. The proper word escapes me, but she utilized a mannequin or something, a standing object, almost as like a human shield almost, but turned it on the person that had a gun to her back anyways. So almost exactly like turned the situation around on them. It's like, oh, you have a gun on me, but I have a gun on, because it's so dark that not even the person with the gun can really see. It's like, well, I have my gun of my own and it's trained on somebody you care about, that kind of thing.
Very interesting. Yeah.
And as this dark, shadowy, no one sure what's going on scene happens, the other person breaks first, and Amanda's able to steal the incriminating evidence and bolt out before anyone can notice.
I love it. So you get the choice here, Wes. Do you want to get a 12 plus to whatever relevant roll might happen, or do you want to declare something is true about the scene?
I want to declare that something is true about the scene.
Which is?
The gun is going to jam.
Oh, good. Okay.
No matter who fires it, the gun is going to jam.
I like it. It's very good. So what do you say to him? Or them, I suppose. Yeah.
Go. If you're going to use that piece of iron, you best know how to use it properly. I'd use both hands if I was you. And Alice is slowly moving to grab a paperweight off the desk to either throw it at them or throw it as a distraction.
Okay, good. And they say, do you think I'm really intimidated by someone like you? You're not the first person I've killed.
Ditto, chum. And I'm going to throw the paperweight at him.
Nice.
Oh, my.
They pull the trigger, and there's a as it jams. So what do you do?
I'm going to immediately just throw the paperweight. I don't even care if it hits them, and go to break for the door, just grabbing whatever kind of papers I can.
You can escape. Yeah, you can escape. Per the rules of the game, you're never allowed to like see who these people are who threaten you in the shadows, right? It's a genre thing. But you do escape, and I'm not going to make you roll. That's fine to escape. The way you've described it sounds good. Because there's no danger, because the gun didn't work. So, yeah. Do I owe you any clues? I do owe you a clue, don't I?
You owe
because
me a clue.
I do owe you a clue. So let me give you that now. You did grab some papers. I love that. And I think that you find among those papers. Oh, I'm just gonna clueify the thing that Xander said, which is you find like a stack of papers that are an attempt to collect a debt. So,
ooh, cool.
It is a capital C clue now. And let's take a look at how many clues do we have so far?
Currently at 7, and I think you owe me
7.
one too.
Yeah, and I'm about to give you one, so
Okay,
you'll have
cool.
8. So you'll be in pretty good shape to theorize, I think. Yeah. Let's give you your clue. What was your die result?
It was an 11.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. And you were looking at her phone specifically.
Yeah, like peeking, trying to see like what she's so involved with texting wise, and yeah.
When you look at her phone, she's not answering a DM at all. She's doing massive like financial transaction on her phone. She is like basically hitting send and causing a lot of money. Maybe even like it looks like it might be a big stock purchase, a big order for stock happening on the phone right now.
Fascinating.
That's your clue. And I think what might be fun to do, since you have 8 clues now, is to put you all together for the cocktail party portion. We'll mingle with the side characters a little bit, or the suspects a bit, and then we can start talking about theorize, unless you want to get a couple more clues. But if you see an opportunity for a clue, go for it. But I think we're getting pretty close.
Gotcha.
But you will all be eventually summoned to this, like, they've actually decided to have drinks on the deck. They have lights strung up under this, like, kind of, like when you go to a vineyard, like the little, like, trellis thing or whatever, lights are strung up, and there's a table with canapes and different things. Quite a lot of prawns, as it turns out, prawn related things. And, when in Brindlewood Bay. And Andrew's making sure that everyone's drinks are topped off, and Alison Krause greets you all as you come up, and she says, "Well, ladies, have you figured out who killed my husband yet?"
Oh, you make it seem like it's a parlor trick, darling. No, not quite yet. We thought we'd enjoy these lovely Bloody Marys with fresh prawns.
Right. Unfortunately, I have a shellfish allergy, and I'm not able to partake.
Ah.
Would that shellfish allergy cause your gun to jam as well?
What?
If that's a
What?
figure of speech, ma'am, I don't know what you're talking about.
Interesting. Yeah, just a euphemism where I come from, just a way to see how somebody's handling their liquor. Go back and sip a Bloody Mary with a prawn.
She turns to you, Millie, and says, I know where I know you from now. You've done some charity fundraising work, haven't you?
That was directed at
Oh, sorry,
Millie.
that's
To
me.
Millie.
To Millie,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad. Yes, darling. Yes, I have. You're familiar with my work?
Well, it's the sort of level that I don't normally interact with. It's a little bit beneath my notice.
Mm.
But yes, I'm rather impressed that you've managed to do so much with so little.
Why, thank you. That means a great deal. Pardon me for asking, but are you currently working on a function at the moment?
Well, yes, of course,
Oh.
you're familiar with the Warriors' Ball.
Oh, of course, the Warriors' Ball.
We're raising money to help veterans stricken with testicular cancer.
Ha! The Warriors' Ball. Oh, that's magnificent, darling.
I don't know what you mean. What's so funny about that?
Nothing at all. Oh, well, when is this? Maybe I can swing by Boston and...
I'll see to it you get an invitation.
Oh, that is lovely. Who else has been invited? I'm sorry, I'm getting giddy just thinking about it.
Oh, you know, everyone you'd expect to be at one of the most prestigious events of the year.
Oh my! Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, and yes, and
All
yes,
the
and-
big names.
Alice, I need you to catch me. Alice, please.
Oh, yes,
Meanwhile-
sorry. No, I was thinking about prawns. Here, catch you. Yes, got it. The
Oh,
whole time, Alice has just been glaring at Allison, just like angrily sipping, eye twitching,
Indeed.
all that good stuff.
The children are there, Emily and David looking rather surly. Sarah is still snuffling, not quite weeping, but certainly sobbing a little bit quietly. Andrew is making sure everyone is taken care of. He particularly dotes on Allison, but that could just be because she's his new employer. Or maybe not. I don't know. And Allison does keep checking her messages. Probably something from the young soldier, if I had to guess. Or the soldier who's half her age. We don't know how young exactly he is. What is everyone thinking right now? Do we want to theorize while everyone's still a little while everyone's here, or do we want to do something else? Does anyone have a theory?
I'm
I feel like
conjuring one.
I'm conjuring. I feel like if we could get one more clue.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm thinking because Wes, don't you essentially, because of your Maven move, you
Yeah.
essentially get a free Gold Crown mystery, so we still have one on
Might
the
as
table.
well use it.
Might as well
Yeah,
use
could
it.
do it.
I'm thinking.
I'm sure there's a cocktail party Gold Crown mystery somewhere.
Oh,
yeah.
in there.
absolutely. Ah,
Meg, I'm ruminating on an idea, but if you got one for a Gold Crown mystery move, I'm all game for to hear what you got.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna have Millie kind of like pace the area nervously. She's like keeping an eye out for everything, and then she kind of like furrows her brow. She kind of goes, wait, sorry, Andrew, I don't mean to be so morbid, but is this the spot that supposedly the late Mr. Krause slipped and met his doom?
And Andrew will say, I'm quite sure I wouldn't know, madam.
Indeed. Okay, then he'll walk away, and I just kind of like think to myself, and Emily says, "This reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacourt.
Murder on the something with a yacht. I'm thinking
something with a canapé.
Yeah. Ooh.
Got an idea?
Oh, murder at the bottom of a glass.
Ooh,
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
pretty good.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay, good. We got our name. So
Got
what was the
name.
situation?
Amanda Delacour was invited to a wonderful yacht party that was happening at the Monaco Grand Prix. Is because that's where a bunch of boats interact and everything like that. Makes sense. It's very extravagant. And it seemed that there was she was invited to for this boat party that was to celebrate one of the Formula One drivers, a very championed young guy who had been taking on all of these old elder competitors. You know, he was upstart, young, underdog type, very scrappy, getting a lot of points, leading the championship, and then suddenly he was found stuffed dead in the bottom of a giant champagne flute that was supposed to be like a celebratory thing at this party.
And so on this yacht, Amanda has been canvassing the area, and she knows that he wasn't just the mortician said that he had drowned first, and so she had been canvassing the railings until she found a spot where something was just a little bit off.
And I have an idea for that, which is that this just came to my mind, that there's it's so easy to miss if you don't know to look for it, but there's like usually a pattern. There's like, you know, little circular lifesaver, like lifesaver raft thing. There's like one there, equidistant, and then there's a gap, and it's like he couldn't possibly have drowned because he must have grabbed a life vest as he was pushed overboard. You know, yeah.
I love it. That's really good. Actually, I think that's really great. And if you want to apply this to your meddling move, I would just say, because you're going to get 12 plus if you apply it, if you decide to do that, or you can declare that there's a missing thing.
Both are really good.
I think we can make it.
If you want your clue.
I do want that extra clue. Yeah.
Okay. I'll play into it though. I'll just say that there is, we'll say that there's it's not so obvious as like there's big, you know, like circular life rafts like that. But you will notice that there is there's like a storage bin where a life jacket has clearly been removed from it, right? So that'll be your clue. You're also getting a void clue because it's a 12 plus. And I think Andrew walks up to you as you are poking around in this little storage blocker, and he says, "Madam, you keep getting lost."
It's a habit of mine. I apologize. And it's the champagne. It's all going straight to my head.
Let me help you. And he kind of like is helping you up.
Oh, am I? Strong hand.
As he does so, you look at his hands, and he has a tattoo on his hand, but it's moving. It is a tattoo of a ship. And something in the tattoo, an image, something grabs the ship and pulls it under. And then it just disappears down his sleeve. Just a trick of the light, I'm sure.
Of course. I will return to my unless you have something you want to say.
Oh, no.
Okay, I will return to Opal and Alice, and I feel like, if you two are okay with me saying this, I feel like in unison, there's like a pause, and we both all at the same time say, all right, I know who did it. What?
So
Agreed.
all right, so let's theorize. Let's read the move.
Yeah.
The move says, when the Mavens have an open, freewheeling discussion about the solution to a mystery based on the clues you've uncovered and reach a consensus, roll plus the number of clues incorporated into the theory or otherwise explained away minus the complexity, which is 6 in this case. And then depending on the roll, that determines whether you're correct and kind of how the resolution goes. But you can discuss this in character if you wish, but usually it's an out of character discussion about the solution. I think we should review the clues really quickly though.
Yep.
So the clues are: Allison Krauss has a young lover in town, an army private. There is a diary with a page marked, "I just can't take it anymore." You can add context to that clue if you wish. Like, whose is it? Waterlogged yellow manila envelope with very expensive purchase receipts in it. Someone was cut out of the will and they don't know why. Emily is not Albert's child. There was a bad argument between Allison and Albert the night or the day before the murder, or the alleged murder. There's a stack of papers that are basically like debt collection attempts. Emily is doing massive financial transactions on her phone, and a life jacket was removed from the storage bin on the deck.
Okay.
This is a good passel of clues. If you can work them all in, you get a +3, but we'll see how it goes.
Right.
Okay, so this is not a detail came to mind when Jason just gave me that void clue, and I'm just like, so this is I don't think we have anything on here that I can apply this to mechanically,
Right.
but I think that Andrew is a Willoughby.
Interesting.
He might I feel like since Jason established that the Deep Reaver crew had the Willoughbys on it, June is a Willoughby, and if this is like a Deep Reaver tattoo or something, maybe it is this.
I'll note that I didn't say that June was at the little cocktail party, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, J'accuse.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Hmm.
I think June's dead. I think June's dead.
All right, we'll keep this theory going.
Sure,
So
yeah.
where are we going with
So
this?
I think
I
Andrew's
think-
responsible. That's where I'm going with it.
Okay.
You think it's Andrew?
I think Andrew, through a veneer of a bunch of other things, it is him behind it all. But I'm open
Okay.
to anything. Like that's just kind of where I was leaning.
Mhm.
But I want to hear what you guys are thinking.
I definitely think there's more than one person in on it. I don't think it's just one person.
Do you think? Okay, so this is pretty interesting. I think that there was multiple intents to kill, and almost in a Rube Goldberg-esque way, everybody, almost like Rasputin being killed.
Yeah.
And it's everybody there's multiple people that had motives, and so just different things that they did.
I think that the diary actually, the I just can't take it anymore diary, is from Andrew about how he hates his employer and how he treats his family so awfully, but he also, having been like a loyal servant for several years, and obviously like it's not like super incriminating by itself, but there's like a number of other components. But I think the gist of there is like he's saying he can't take it anymore, so he's going to like the dominoes falling. If he can just get the family to do all these little things, he can take out Albert, and no one will suspect him because he's just a butler,
Right.
So it's all phrased very subtextually.
Yeah.
So I think that's how the diary comes into play.
Okay, so I think it kind of begins with Allison. It kind of begins with her. She's had several affairs throughout the years. Emily and, well, her new boy toy being the most prominent. But that has always been a wedge between her and Albert. It's been something that he's been trying to gain leverage over her with, and she has been trying to either cover up or hide. She's never thought about pushing him to murder. I think it's safe to say that Allison probably married in for money. I think that's probably a safe assumption. So she's been trying to secure that amount of money, but she's also, she wants to do her own thing.
Yeah.
How relevant is it that June and Albert were having an affair?
I would like to throw in my hat in that I think that Albert has been faithful up to a point to where he found out that Allison had been unfaithful during most of their marriage. And so he had one of those nights where he's drunk and he's like, you know what? She can do it. So can I.
So with just
June
was-
Willoughby.
Yeah.
June Willoughby just happened to be there, and he's like, you know what? Yep, here we go.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do we think the fishmonger is involved, or is he just a red herring?
I think he's a red herring. I think he's literally just a red herring.
Well, they were out of the herring when I was there last, darling, but you can check again. Yeah, I agree. I think Etienne is a red herring in this situation.
Yes, very much so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Very good.
so Allison, it all kind of comes to a head with that big fight of the affairs on both ends now, kind of. That wasn't really the catalyst, but it definitely made things worse. And I think it definitely made things worse once Allison realized just how deep in debt the family was getting.
And more so specifically, she realized how deep in debt she was, and she was also the one cut out of the will.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's take a look at the clues for a sec. So we've got Allison, the young lover,
Mhm.
the diary. Now, who are we saying the diary was from?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Okay,
The
so
butler.
Andrew.
Basically, Andrew was trying to master
The shadow mastermind, the
Yeah.
the Moriarty of this whole
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The mastermind, Andrew the butler. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
mastermind.
interesting.
Yes,
through the book.
catch it on the between next
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
No. Yeah, so I think that so Emily is not Albert's child.
Mhm.
She's the child of Allison and this young army private. I
Who he
think
still could be old enough to have a
Yeah.
young adult
Yeah.
daughter.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like young adult daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'd say like what, she's like Allison's like in her 60s or maybe something like that. Like
Yeah.
Well, although he's probably not a private anymore. Maybe he was
Yeah.
just a private when they met.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
private half her age
Yeah,
when they first
yeah,
met,
yeah.
and now like
Yeah,
20 years
yeah.
later. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where I think that fits in is
Yeah.
the thing. And the bad argument between Allison and Albert was probably is when he exposed her. I've cut you out of the will.
Oh, maybe
Because-
that's what they were fighting about.
because he's sick and tired of her being unfaithful, of this, of that.
Does the debt have anything to do with it?
The waterlogged manila envelopes with the very exclusive receipts and the stack of papers to collect a debt probably ties into David, who made some
Mhm.
bad art deals.
Yep.
Okay. So
And
so then that's a red
and-
herring then.
It's a red herring, but it's also something that Albert used against Allison because he said that you weren't raising him right. That,
And
that,
it's-
that,
Oh,
that,
interesting.
that you set a bad example by buying up all the shit that you used to do,
And
and,
then-
now
Yeah.
he thinks he can do it.
And in this theory that
Yeah.
Andrew is the one behind it
Mhm.
all just because he got so sick of working for Albert Krauss, is that like this has been like a multi-month dominoes plan where he was probably
Do you think it matters that Andrew was particularly? I noted that he was very doting on Allison. Do you think
Mhm.
there's an emotional component to it? Like he's defending Allison, possibly? Like, or he's
I kind of like the idea of him buttering her up.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Unless you guys want to go with something else.
Well, maybe there's a little bit just because maybe Allison has been like this very like high society type as she has interacted with the majority of the Mavens here. But maybe to Andrew, she always treated Andrew like, oh, Andrew, I can always rely on you. You're
Yeah.
always here for me, Andrew. You're always here with a drink. You're always here for so like, and so Andrew was probably like, she's like one of the few Krauses that are actually like treats me like I'm an actual person, even though I'm just a butler.
Mhm.
I'm the butler who buttles.
So that like
Mhm.
after
So
the
we've
fight,
got- Yeah. Well, we got two sort of like real
Yeah.
stick out like a sore thumb
Yeah.
clues here.
Yeah, we're still getting
And-
there.
Yeah. So let's keep going with these last two clues. These are the tough ones, I think.
Yeah.
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 doing massive financial transactions.
Docs.
I think
I think we can combine that with the other debt clues and expensive
Yeah.
things. Is that both all
Both the kids.
3 children in some ways had been goaded into extreme expenses and bad deals, and so that's been like piling up, which caused Albert, it's been like causing like hostility between the family, and that might be
Because
an angle
Allison's like, David's like me, he appreciates good art, but
So,
Emily,
essentially,
you're like your father, so you should deal with stocks and businesses.
Sarah, you've been paying
Yeah.
like, Sarah's been like buying like furniture or something, I don't know, like something.
Oh no, Sarah. If we want a little bit more morbid, since Sarah seems to be the outlaw of the family, she's been bouncing around between a lot of different colleges. She hasn't been able to finish, so she's been racking up a lot of
so all this debt.
debt.
And this.
It's all, we could say that the stack of the deck that was all from
all 3,
like from universities essentially.
University.
And
so in this case, it wasn't necessarily that because Sarah called her a professor, that means she would have studied under her. So maybe she was in culinary school, but she just dropped out at some point.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's review the clues.
Actually, I have one for the life jacket, I think, which is to say, I think
that's
that
a tough one too.
I know. Here's what I'm thinking. All this to say, if we're going with the theory that it is Andrew, and I am open to that changing, but if we're going with the theory that it is Andrew, him driving these individual stakes between all the family members to all turn them against their father, and him being hostile towards them as well with all this frustration. On a boat in the middle of the ocean, like if you have a family member who's always at this one part of the ship, a family member who's always over here, a family member who's always over here, where's the one spot he's going to go to be alone after a big fight with his family
on the deck,
where Andrew knows that everyone will be so angry and upset they'll just be left by themselves, and so they have like a maybe they have like some kind of scuffle, and
Albert's able to get the life preserver seeing what's going to happen, but it doesn't matter when you're dead.
Or here's an idea. Here, I'll add a bit of a cruel little like twist of the knife that a butler could give, which is he throws Albert overboard, and then throws him a life jacket, and says, keep, like maybe like there's like a time in Andrew's life when it's like Albert was like, keep those feet moving, Andrew. I need you up, 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 and so Andrew leaning over the prow saying, keep those feet moving, Albert. I need you up, up, up. And then he got into like maybe they have like a little tiny like little speedboat, and he fucking chased him in the water down with it as he's trying to like paddle away in the water, and just bam, clocked him with the boat.
Oh, that's where the head injury came from.
Just blunt trauma.
Hit him with the boat, and then leaned over the water, unstrapped his life jacket, hucked it away, and let him just bob and sink into the water before parking the boat back out.
Very interesting.
I think that's a pretty solid theory.
It's sounding good. Let's go through the clues.
Yeah.
So
Strings.
Allison Krauss having a young lover in town. This is the basic like kind of problem between Allison and Albert. Okay, great. The diary is essentially
Andrew's manifesto.
Basically saying like, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to do something. Right. Okay, that's good. Did we want to establish that Andrew is a Willoughby and that June's in on it, or is that just do we discard that idea?
We can discard that.
Okay. We can just discard that.
Okay.
I actually think it's not a big deal. We can just say that he's a Willoughby in that, like, because he made the comment of "I love being here" in Brindlewood Bay, but it was absolutely him sliding the idea slowly, like we should go to Brindlewood Bay for a vacation this year.
Oh, that's interesting.
Where is he? Because he has like a cousin or a sister there or something.
Yeah.
So he's a Willoughby only in that he was like, I have a family member there. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, like that's a nice like angle because it kind of speaks to why he would say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the manila envelope, the university debt collection, and Emily's massive financial transactions all speak to that's just a basic tension in the family, right?
Yeah.
Like the kids are overspending, and it was another like point of drama between Allison and Albert, right? Okay, love that. And Allison was cut out of the will because of her spending. Like he basically has basically like kind of cut her off. So that's a big problem. And Emily's not Albert's child, just like speaks again to the same basic like kind of
idea.
Rot the affair, the argument. And then we've described how Andrew did it via the life jacket explains how he did it. That's pretty good. It's interesting. So even though, so basically the only person who's getting fingered for this is Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Allison, the family troubles are just Andrew responding to the family troubles, basically,
Yeah.
right?
And him kind of goading things on.
And
Yeah.
because like I think there's this idea where it's like, oh, if I get them all kind of at Albert's throat, at each other's throats,
I see.
like
Good.
they'll suspect each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like, why would the receipts be on the yacht?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
why would this stuff be on the yacht if Andrew might have taken it and put it there, right? And so that's
Right, yeah.
I
He's
like it.
trying
That's
to
really
just,
good.
if everybody suspects everybody, they're probably just going to keep their mouths shut.
Shut.
You know?
Yeah.
Just
I
be like,
love
let's
it.
go
It's
back to
great.
Boston.
Yeah.
You got a
let's do it.
+3. It's a fantastic theory. Who wants to roll it?
Who wants to roll?
You want to take it? You know what? I feel like dear old Alex here never gets to roll
Yeah.
dice.
I
on
literally
Monday
never do on the
nights.
between.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. All right, I
Go
will.
for it.
Take it.
+3.
+3.
Ooh, that is a 9.
Very good.
Ooh.
So you have some options here.
Mhm.
This is the final version of the game, which is not the version that we have right now, but is going to be on Kickstarter, or this is coming out on Kickstarter. Has the between rule, which is you can each mark a crown to bump up the result to a 10 if you wish. Since it's a one shot, you might as well, but
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to you.
Well,
Uh,
isn't it that like if it's like a 9, it's like, oh, there's like a dangerous element with apprehending
yeah,
them?
yeah, like the resolution is complicated
But
for
that's
some reason, in some
fun.
way. Well, that's fun. So
Well,
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what the complication is.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I want to see what
So
this
let's
complication
say-
is.
You've made the accusation.
Mhm.
You've kind of done the classic like Poirot thing where everyone's gathered and you explain exactly like how it all went. And Andrew pulls out a gun and says, "That's very clever for you to figure it all out. Let me assure you that this time the gun will not jam."
Alice is just gonna look over and just be like, "That's what I'm
He
at."
says, and now he's gonna pull like a Tim Curry and Clue, and he says, "Since we're all out here alone in a boat, don't you think it would be a little funny if a philanthropist socialite, her art gallerist son, her tech wizard daughter, and Sarah has kids to be implicated in the murder of their father, if not directly responsible? The scandal would be too much." And Allison says, "He has a good point." And
Shut up, discount Catherine O'Hara.
and he says, "Everyone hated Mr. Krause. No one more than me, certainly. But is anyone really unhappy that he's dead? Oh, and Sarah, no one is impressed by your theatrics. I say we throw these old ladies overboard after putting a bullet in them. We wait for the sheriff to give us the body, and we go back to Boston like none of this ever happened."
Oh, it's a fascinating idea.
Hmm.
Fascinating. Wes and Meg, I want to do something kind of wild if you're okay with it.
I have an idea as well.
Oh,
Go
yeah?
ahead.
No, I'd love to hear what you're thinking because.
So the thing about Opal is that
Mhm.
Opal is she has the Frank Columbo move. She's kind of able to move a little bit more, unseen. I'm just gonna say that in this whole thing, like Millie's been taking the lead, and no one's kind of noticed Opal sneaking up on Andrew with her big fuck off history tome to
Yes,
smack
good.
him over the head.
Good.
And what I was going to include, if you weren't going to smack him over the head, I was going to smack him over the head with the aura I have. No, I feel like what Millie says is like, well, darling, there's one thing you should know about us murder mavens if you're going to visit Brindlewood Bay. And as I see like Opal like sneaking up, and I say, well, we all love to give a bit of a show. I mean, Alice here does her paintings. I myself put on a hell of a charity organization. But the one thing we love most of all is meddling. And the one thing we like slightly more than that is showing the good sheriff what for, which is why exactly 30 minutes ago, I texted Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple saying, watch this, and he will be here any minute now.
Very good. And then whack. I'm not going to make you roll, but if you just mark the book, I'll let you knock Andrew out.
Amazing.
And that is a successful resolution of the mystery. And I love it. Let's go ahead and do our little end of session questions.
Let's do it.
Did the Murder Mavens solve a mystery? Yes. Everyone mark that one. You get 1 XP. And now let's go character to character. Opal, did you share your wisdom with a young person?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Did you share a memory of a late family member?
I did bring up Harold when Sarah was crying about.
Yep.
Yes.
So great. You got 3 XP. Let's go over to Alice. Did you show someone that you've, quote, still got it?
I believe so, with the gun jamming and everything.
Oh, yeah. That whole sequence. Yeah, it was good.
Sequence,
did you behave like a woman half your age? Probably the same sequence, but.
Probably. Well, also, I would say that's exactly what your mom said to me last night.
Oh, that was pretty good. Yeah.
That was
that's
very good.
Yeah, the little like puerile kid joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Go ahead, mark 3 XP, and let's go over to Mildred Davenport. Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? Yes, you all did that tonight.
Yes.
Did you dote on someone?
I think I doted on David. I was like, do you need anything? Can I get you anything?
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. We'll go to debrief in a moment, but first, 3 of you are on the deck of the Regal Lady. The family have all been brought in for questioning. Andrew, of course, has been arrested. And you're enjoying what's left of the prawns and cocktails. June Willoughby is there with you as well. Her back is to you. She's looking out at the moon, at the ocean. She says, "It's funny, the ocean. So dark, so deep. Don't you wonder what's down there, down below? I frequently find myself at Bonfire Cliff, looking down into the waters. There is something there that calls to me, ladies. It has called to me since I was a little girl. I feel like very soon it will be time to answer that call." And then she turns and slips one of those featureless stone masks over her face and says, "I do wonder if you all will answer the call with me." And that will cut our session. And shall we debrief? Stars and wishes? Does that sound good?
Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't think I ever did the crown flashback, so I can do that very quickly. Right at the end.
Do. Yeah. I forgot to do all that.
A flashback showing how Millie was an imperfect mother.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'll just make this very quick. Is with their 3 kids growing up in their wealthy Manhattan, apartment in the Lower West Side or something like that. Had all of her children kind of being like little brats, and she didn't never properly discipline them. Like one time she kind of like went off the handle, and that definitely like resulted in Thaddeus taking a bit of a harsh edge to his mother, which years later, as they've always like, she's always been kind of harder on him, and he always was more rebellious because of this lack of attention. He eventually booked passage on a ship to just go off into the world and be free, and that was the ship that hit a storm and never returned. So that is what I was thinking with that.
Oh
yeah. Stars and wishes.
I love it. All right, stars and wishes. Stars are things that you enjoyed about the session, something about the game, something that your fellow players did, something I did, something about the story. Wishes are Well, since this is our only session, we can't really talk about like next session, but we could maybe just ruminate about the system or things you would, like to do or whatever. So who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Sure.
I would love to give a star. I like to break up my stars. I apologize, Jason. But Jason, first of all, you did a wonderful job being our keeper and a narrator. And thank you for coming down on short notice and coming and hanging out with us.
You're welcome.
Tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You do a great job with pacing and narrating. It's fantastic. And then Meg, I absolutely adore Opal. Opal is fantastic. And like to go to the other two mavens, or our other maven as well, Alex. A star for you. I'm glad I got to play this game with you, and you're not running it. Yeah, it was great. You do really well playing off of each of us and everything like that. So it's nice to know that you fit in very well with this group, not just as a keeper, but as a player as well. It's awesome. Also, I just liked how each of the mavens had like fit like a role, because you had Millie, who was like the debutante, like the very like the Dorothy like from Golden Girls, like very could talk to people and is like the face character. And then you had Opal, who was like the brains but also like the heart of the group. And then you had Alice, who was the rough and tumble, like I'm gonna the muscle type. I think it was a really good archetype. So yeah, it was very fun. In my wishes, I can't say that I wish that this gets funded, because y'all smashed y'all's funding goal so close. But I hope that everybody that watches this, you have ample opportunity to go and back the Kickstarter, and you can back it at a very nice level that has both of the books with some extra digital goodies in hardcover, but you also get a cookbook with it as well that has its own mystery built into the cookbook. So you have recipes that were made by an actual chef in a book that has a mystery that goes with the game. It's crazy. It's wild. I love it. I love it. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. It's fantastic. So yeah. And then also I hope to eventually, maybe sometime soon, have my own Brindlewood Bay show on my channel. So maybe I should talk to somebody about that.
You know where to find me, Wes.
Oh yeah.
I'll give my stars and wishes next.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say that my stars in general, I absolutely, as always, have to star Wes's comebacks and quips that he just always throws out there. Even on the Between is amazing, and just as a sassy old woman's great. I loved the little flashback you did, Meg, of the cooking date. That was just wholesome, and I loved that. Star absolutely for Jason too, just for the being someone who's familiar with this mystery quite well, having run Brindlewood Bay a lot myself. The amount of like detail you breathe into the world is, I mean, you made this world, so I mean, it was so cool. Especially the fish market, I never even considered it like that, so that was just really cool seeing how you kind of elevated all of these ideas, and it was fun to live in Brindlewood Bay, which is very cool. And then I think also just like y'all are great as a whole. A general wish, I mean, I also share that I hope the Kickstarter smashes through its 300,000 stretch goal. Is that the last stretch goal, or?
Well, probably not.
Okay. Okay.
But no. There's one at 315 as well.
I'm still angling for that. Like, give us a new dark conspiracy. Like,
there may be something I can't say yet, but there might be something.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah. I mean, in general, I can't wait to hold this book. You know, I can't wait to actually like play this game. And I look forward to seeing, because I've obviously kept up with like all the codex issues as well, about like, you know, all the articles. So I can't wait to see all those incorporated with all the ideas of the servitors and sendings is all very cool.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the mysteries are being revised too. They're being revised, not too much, but to basically be more like the Between. Like they'll have moments, and they'll have the locations will be like they are in the Between. Like we're trying to basically make the two a little bit closer to each other, essentially.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm just very excited for Brindlewood Bay.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll go. I'm gonna give my star, I think, for Wes's whole scene with, you know, the gun train on her, and just how you just played off of that, both, you know, just with her just not giving an absolute damn about how much danger she was in, but also just, you know, just playing off, you know, like, this is a woman who's seen some shit. She's a lesbian, presumably, who's lived through all of the everything. And so she's just like, I don't give a damn, hon. You don't know how to shoot that gun.
Take me to Bernice, I dare you.
Xander, I really, really enjoy just how you played Millie and how you like really leaned into her conditions and how she was just getting really paranoid by the end. I'm just like, oh, I am out of my depth. I'm not usually out of my depth, but I am definitely out of my depth here. And I really appreciated that. And then just Jason, thank you so much for doing all this. Just, this was a really fantastic experience. It's really fun just being able to, you know, see how different people run different games. And I really enjoy just kind of, you know, the privilege of being able to play with a settings creator. I've had that privilege once before, and it's a really great experience.
Awesome. I'm glad. Stars for me.
And then
sorry,
Wish.
do you wish? Yeah.
Wishes. Please just back the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That's my wish.
That's
Please
my wish
just
too.
please just back the Kickstarter. This game and the people who work with Gauntlet Publishing are just really amazing, as you've seen by Jason Cordova right here. The people are great. They're wonderful. It's been a pleasure being able to play these games and work with these guys. So please just support Kickstarter, support these guys.
Yeah, my stars. Well, first of all, just thank you all for having me tonight. I'm happy that I was able to do it, and I'm happy that, you know, because it was very enjoyable, because I have watched you all play my other game, The Between, for the last few weeks, and so it was really enjoyable just to kind of like get to sort of like play with you and like know you in this way. So that was really, really good. The chemistry at the table was fantastic. It's very clear that you're all accustomed to playing with each other. And so that was enjoyable as a keeper. I felt very, you know, like I always feel like part of my job as the keeper is to sort of like, to reassure the players that they're in good hands, right? Like that feels like one of my jobs, right? And but in this case, I felt like I was in really good hands as the keeper with all of you. So so that was really nice. Since I was the sort of like, you know, the outsider, like for you know, coming in for a session. So thank you for that. I absolutely loved the flashback with Opal, the little like burgeoning love, or it wasn't a flashback, it was like a present day thing. But yeah, enjoyed that. It was really, really, that was a highlight for me probably tonight in terms of just like the emotion of the story. Absolutely loved the little shade throwing between June and Millie. It was really, really fun. And also with Allison as well. That whole, I want to watch a TV show that's Millie, Allison, and June. I think that'd be very enjoyable. The scene in the office was terrific. It was such classic Brindlewood Bay, like the way it all came off. And I liked how Wes handled the situation. I liked the invocation of the Gold Crown Mysteries move. That was fantastic. That was like a great timing for the use of that move. It was a perfect time to use it. And I'm just really happy that we got to really show off Brindlewood Bay. We got to do like not every move, but we did a lot of them, and we showed a lot of what the game does, and that made me really happy. And importantly, I probably laid it on a little thicker because it was a one shot, but like we got to see quite a lot, like that other half of the game that's not just cozy murder mystery, right? We got to see a lot of that part of it, and so I was really happy with that. That we got to do that for this one shot. It felt like a good, like, you know, we got the vibe and the feeling of Brindlewood Bay in one go. So I was really happy with it. Wish, yeah, please go back to Kickstarter. Everybody, if you're watching the video, I would wish that you would do that, and enough of you have, so I'm very happy. Trust me, but we've got more coming, and it's just such a wonderful, gratifying thing that so many people want to play my game, and it makes me very happy. And so, yeah, I'm just very thankful and delighted by that. But yeah, I think that's all I got. So.
Right on. All right. Well, then, I guess we'll close out there for the evening. That was fantastic. Thank you, Jason, for coming on and running that game for us. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Wes. I hope everybody has a good week. As a reminder, there is no Never Going Home on Fridays. We're still on our season hiatus. You can check out Roll for Damage, though. There's no Dream Chasers either this week, but we are going to be like hanging out playing video games. Oh, actually, no, there is Dream Chasers this week. So World of Darkness game over on Roll for Damage, so check that out. And yeah, go check out the Kickstarter for Brindlewood Bay. Check out the Gauntlet. Check out that whole community. They are some of the coolest people I've ever talked to and have been a huge help with creating things. So yeah, that's my spiel, and I hope everyone has a good night. Is there, aside from the Brindlewood Bay Kickstarter, is there anything else anyone wants to plug real quick before we go out? Yeah, Meg, go ahead.
Happy Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
It's Mermaid, and as part of Mermaid, I have put together my 2 mermaid themed products on DM's Guild in a bundle. It's now in cute, adorable bundle form. You can just get my mermaid books at a discount. I'll link it in the chat, but you know, support your creators. That's kind of the theme for tonight. Support your creators.
Speaking of creator support, go ahead while you're here on the Twitch machine. Go ahead and you can go and open a new tab, but keep it on twitch.tv. Then go to Twitch and then look up Carry and Cover Studios and go follow us on twitch.tv because we have a lot of great stuff coming up. Tuesday, tomorrow, our very own Leslie is going to be is back with Comfort Sickle, our popsicle video game stream where she makes a popsicle and you get to choose the flavors depending on if you tip money. But instead of tipping money to us right now, she has a variety of different funds and charities and groups that are supporting reproductive rights for those that have uteruses across the country. So why don't you go ahead, come on by. If you donate a certain amount of money, you get to choose the next popsicle flavor on the next show. So go ahead, check that out. Go hang out with her. She's playing Stardew Valley tomorrow. It's very fun. It's very cozy. Wednesday, Derek and Nick have begged and I have allowed them to start a playthrough on Good Game Well Played, a co-op playthrough of Sonic Adventures 2. Complete with the soundtrack and everything. So tune in for that. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Go ahead and check it out Eastern time. And then Thursday, the finale of Gazebo's Bed and Breakfast. The Indiegogo may be over, but the series is coming to a close. So go ahead and check us out there. That is going to be happening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then, believe it or not, we have another finale coming up as well. Kingdom Hearts Interstitial War, the part 4 of our finale. We have a 5-part finale because we're an anime series, technically. So part 4 of our finale is this Friday. Check it out, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And go over to our YouTube. If you're late on Kingdom Hearts Interstitial War, there's plenty of content, guest stars. I played Bill Cipher. So, you know,
it's
if
cool.
you want to see
guys had Doctor Strange on there last episode.
We had Doctor Strange.
Cool.
Yeah, Zach has been on the Doctor Strange, very much in the zeitgeist right now and topical. So go check us out. It's a great show. We have a lot of other great stuff. If you like Percy Jackson, we have a Percy Jackson series, all that other good stuff. But yeah, check us out. And, you know, if you want to collaborate with us, hit me up. I'm on Twitter.
Excellent. All right, and before we head out, I'm just going to organize a raid. We're going to go raid Ice Cold Brew, who's currently playing Pokemon. So go give your love to Ice Cold. I'm starting up the raid, so people, go, go, go. I have to wait until the countdown's ready for me to actually go, go, go. But yeah, we're just going to go say hi and make sure you give them some love. But thank you all, and we'll see you later. Bye.